And Pacheco remains the back. And Minshew to the air. And deep. And intercepted. It's picked off. Derwin James gets it.
They need a serious retooling of their roster in order to kind of maybe shepherd along the second act of Patrick Mahomes when he comes back.
That's what it sounded like.
No, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah!
Woo! Chiefs Kingdom, shut down. The moat is flooded. The drawbridge is brought up. The kingdom is closed.
That's pretty good.
Thanks, man. I've been thinking about it for like 24 hours.
Oh, have you? Man, that was good.
I've been thinking about it for about 3 weeks.
Oh.
Really? You were the one giving me the whole, here's the path to the playoffs.
Yeah. You were Charlie Days.
I told you guys the hardest thing is for them to win.
That's true. You did.
I said everything else not only feels possible, it feels likely. The Colts lost over the weekend. I think the Jaguars are probably going to lose a couple of games, even though they looked great yesterday. I think all of that stuff was probably always going to happen.
I thought the Chiefs looked pretty good on their first drive.
Yeah.
What happened, man?
Everything that's happened all year is what happened.
Sounds like a coaching problem.
The Chiefs just weren't that good this year. I couldn't believe it. It was hard for me to fathom. And I think this was the case for a lot of people that don't just hate the Chiefs. And if you're somebody that hates the Chiefs, man, they've given you every reason to. For 7 years, they've been the dominant team in all of professional sports. They are the Dodgers, but actually productive in the postseason over a 7-year stretch instead of over just a 2-year stretch, right? So I understand that. But if you're somebody that thinks about this stuff rationally and you're just looking at the team, they just didn't have it this year. The plays that they made in clutch time over the past really 3 years in particular, they weren't making them this year. It wasn't the same. You'd get into a late game situation and they would make a mistake, whether that's defensively, whether that's offense, some kind of hits off of a receiver's hands and then boom, it's intercepted by the defender. Or, hey, a clutch kick that Harrison Butker has always made in the past. He's not making it this time around. Or the defense. Yeah, Chris Jones going to make a play, and then he doesn't. And there's Justin Herbert scrambling for a 15-yard play to finish out the first game of the regular season. It was always just something. And you never could put your finger on what it would be in any given week. And this week was a best of. It was a best of edition of the Kansas City Chiefs failures of 2025. Patrick Mahomes threw a couple of interceptions. Then Gardner Minshew gets in on it. The offensive line, not one, but 2 more injuries that are taking place there. It's everything. Everything found a way to break. And now...
Even BK's spirits.
Yeah. Well, dude, yesterday I was not emotionally invested in that game. I've told you guys over the past 2 weeks, I couldn't believe the amount of respect that Vegas was giving to the Kansas City Chiefs. In no world should they have been favored against the Chargers. I did it again. Hammered the money line. Hammered the money line. Hammered the money line. Give me more of the LA Chargers. Chiefs go up. Give me the Chargers. We all knew how the game was going to come to an end. And... that's how it ended. They found a way to lose once again. By the way, some news to break here on BK and Ferrario. I'm guessing it's what T-Bone is writing on his board right now. Dylan Holloway out for at least the next 6 weeks.
Son of a, you gotta be kidding me! Another one?
Let's go ahead and pivot real quick.
Damn it!
We'll talk about the Chiefs here in a moment.
I feel like the Chiefs.
You gotta be freaking... No, at least the Chiefs were healthy.
You're so much more emotionally invested in what I just said.
Because I gotta do pre and post for the next 6 weeks. I gotta go 6 weeks trying to decipher these games for people without Holloway and Snuggerud and Cairo. Do you know what the third line is going to be this evening?
Go ahead, tell me.
I'm more concerned about the second line.
I don't even know the second line at least has some type of people that can score goals for you. Your third line is Dvorsky, McGing, and Suter.
I haven't seen it yet.
The second line's not great either.
But at least Fabry and
Robbie
Joseph.
Fabry's on the second line.
What are we...
With Joseph and Shin. Joseph, the guy that had to earn a spot on the roster to begin the year.
I just can't.
Fabry was in the AHL 5 days ago.
I just seriously cannot right now.
He's a second line player.
You guys get to just be like, oh, the Blues played tonight. Ooh, the game's over. Ooh, I'm going to switch over to something else to watch. I've got pre and post.
Should we have Hugh McGing's high school coach on?
You want to find the Chicago Steel to hop on and give us a little breakdown?
Can we do a deep dive on Hugh McGing? I mean, he's a really important
Hugh
player.
McGing looked great the other night. That's the problem right now. You got no bodies. So, yes, I'm invested. This is frustrating.
I'm shocked Fabry hasn't made a power play unit.
Just give it time. Did you see what the second power play unit was in this
two
one?
defensemen.
How do we get Logan Mayhew on it? I like that.
Falk will be a bumper. I think
Falk might be a net front presence, to be honest with you right now.
No, that's not easy.
Here's why I'm invested. It's one thing to be losing hockey games when you got all of your best players playing because there's development involved with Snuggerud and all. It's another thing to be playing these games with all of these players to where the development isn't as impactful.
I mean,
at least Toropchenko's back.
Just when you thought you were healthy.
Hopefully he stays away from all the cooking oil the next couple of days.
So, I mean, you're like 4 points out of a playoff spot right now. Also 4 points out of the number 1 overall selection. So, glass
6-7.
half full, glass half empty, depending on your perspective. I had no emotional investment in the Chiefs. We talked about that, 4 minutes ago. Are you still emotionally invested in this right now, Alex?
No, in terms of yes, I'm emotionally invested because I would like to see this team win and have success. The problem with it is their success, yes, is a good thing, but the inconsistencies have been there. And at some point, that clock is going to strike midnight of you finding ways to pull out wins and get those bounces with all of these players. There's also no way of measuring the development of these younger guys because, frankly, that's where you're at right now until you can wheel off 5 or 6 wins in a row, which, I mean, I don't know if you got an opportunity to do that.
Well, I haven't won 3 in a row yet.
Yeah, I don't think, here's why I can't get super emotionally invested. Yes, it's better for us if they win. They were winning when they had these guys on the ice, right? They had Holloway, Snuggerud, and Cairo at one point playing out there, and they weren't winning hockey games. So, no, I don't view this as like, yeah, boy, now we're really going to have a tough climb. We're really going to have a tough time winning 3 in a row. They didn't win 3 in a row when they had these guys. And we can talk about development. Who am I watching for development? I guess Dvorsky. That's it in this lineup?
That's where my frustration lies. Like, before it was I could watch Snuggerud. I could continue to watch Holloway. Those guys were making progress. Now,
Even then, the season wasn't about development.
Yeah, Mayhew. And I mean, it's good that he's getting power play time. I mean, but like the defensive side of it, we've been watching that all season long. The forward side of it is like defensively, they've fixed some things at times. This goes into the inconsistencies we're talking about. On the offensive side, I mean, you've just been lacking offense all season.
Hofer, I'm watching Hofer's development. I'm serious. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm watching Hofer's development. I'm watching Mayhew's development. I'm watching Dvorsky, who has Hugh McGing on one of his wings, so maybe I'm not going to learn a lot there. And that's not a shot. It sounds like it is, but it's not a shot against Hugh McGing. It's just not a spot that he should be in. And I think Hugh McGing knows, hey, I'm not a top 9 forward for an NHL contending team. And the fact that he is right now for the Blues speaks to the situation that they're in. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot that you can reasonably expect out of this roster. I'm curious what it means for Doug Armstrong when it comes to, I mean, we're 4 days away from
the roster
freeze. Mm-hmm. Is this a moment where he can reassess things and be like, listen, if we're going to be without Kyrou and Snuggerud and Holloway for the next who knows how long, this is just not a team that has any reasonable chance of making it to the playoffs. If there are potential moves to be made, let's go ahead and make them now. Let's not wait. There's no reason to do so. If somebody's offering us something that we're willing to make the move for, let's go ahead and do that sooner rather than later. This could be a time where they could do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Set opportunity.
I don't know if they will, because I don't know what the appetite is for other teams if they're willing to pay. Because the thing about the Blues trading is Doug's got a high price set on them, just like Nashville does with Ryan O'Reilly. It's why you really haven't seen a whole lot of trades get made other than the Quinn Hughes one we'll talk about later. But yeah, I mean, it realistically might be time to, cut the cord on that and say, look, we just need to ship these out and just let the team move from there. The problem with that is the moment you move those pieces out, now you're down even more forwards for this team or down even more defensemen for this team. So they're stuck in a weird spot in the middle of the season with all of these injuries piling up. And then Dylan Holloway is the worst of the bunch because that's one of those players you wanted to continue to see develop.
It's a high ankle sprain.
That's
what
more than 6
Jim Montgomery just confirmed.
That's
high
more
ankle
than 6
sprain
weeks.
for Dylan Holloway. The frustrating part about that, dude, those things, even when they are better, A, there's a pretty high re-injury rate with high ankle sprains, and B, it doesn't mean that you're back to 100%.
Oh, yeah, no.
When you get back to that. So
at least it's not broken, which is good.
Yes and no. Breaks sometimes are actually quicker to heal, and once they're good, you're good. And I'm not trying to act like I'm like an expert. I've just seen a lot of this stuff on the football side of things where guys come back from high ankle sprains and they're just not the same.
Yeah,
and it takes until the end of the season for them to actually get the rest and recovery time that's necessary to come back to something resembling 100%. That sucks, man. That's brutal.
Unless things go quicker than we assume, which with a high ankle, I just heavily doubt it. I don't think you see him post-Olympics.
You mean until post-Olympics?
Yeah, like I think he's back after the Olympics. Because, I mean, 6 weeks would bring you up to, like, the second to last week of January.
February?
Yeah, second week of February. 6 weeks would take you to that second week of January.
Late January is what 6 weeks would
put you. They're already on the road. Maybe you get him in those home games, but there's not a whole lot of practice time. And then
and he's getting reevaluated in 6 weeks.
By February 5th, they hit the break. I don't think you see him until February 26th or March.
That would be my guess as well.
Oof, that sucks, too, especially for a guy that you wanted to see continue to develop. He's got the contract situation. I mean, I guess it's a perk for the Blues because maybe he's not going to be as costly as you would imagine. But, man, high ankle sprains is something you don't want to deal with.
From the 618, it's way different in hockey than it is in football when you're wearing a tight boot skate. Yeah, it could be worse, because you're consistently having to turn in hockey. Whereas with some guys in football, you're not asked to make as many cuts. Dude, it's constant in the NHL. And if that's not enough, you've got this frozen puck that's moving at 90 miles an hour that could at any point in time hit your skate, hit your ankle. Yeah, that's brutal.
So Schwartz back in 2015 had that fractured left ankle that needed surgery, and he was out for 12 weeks. He was never the same player when he got back, and I thought maybe it was Robbie Fabry who had a high ankle sprain. Somebody had a high ankle sprain with the Blues early on, and I was trying to find like time frame of when they came back, but no, Robbie Fabry's wasn't either. His was a left foot injury. So I don't know, man. Ankles, especially for a guy like Dylan Holloway, whose game is predicated off of speed, that's 6 weeks timeline of like looking at him. I mean, you're talking 8+ probably.
Yeah. It takes a long time for this to actually get back on track. All right, alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line to get involved in the show. You can check us out on YouTube and be involved in the Graveyard Chat. YouTube.com/101ESPN-STL is the place where you can go for that. Coming up at 11:45, we've got questions and answers. But next, the Cardinals made the obvious signing over the weekend, and sometimes the obvious signing is not a bad signing. We'll talk about that next here on 101 ESPN.
Tanner Hendrickson here in Missouri. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now, you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. I'll be in the action again tonight. I'll be taking the Dolphins on the money line. So join me and download that DraftKings Sportsbook app and use my code TANNER. That's code Tanner as new Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code Tanner. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. In about 10 minutes, we'll talk a little bit more about the AFC. We talked in the open briefly about the Chiefs. Their season came to an end. Let's be honest, their run has come to an end. They'll have to have some kind of an overhaul this offseason. But who are the current Super Bowl contenders, and how many of them currently reside in the AFC? We'll get into that here in just a little bit. Alex, over the weekend, the Cardinals made a relatively significant free agent move. They are officially members of the free agent market. They went out and signed Dustin May to a one-year deal that reportedly has a mutual option. Sometimes the most obvious answer isn't necessarily a bad answer. And that was the case for the Cardinals this offseason. I don't know how many times we've discussed Dustin May's name, but when it came to the free agent market, we would always use him as the placeholder of like, hey, just go add Dustin May or somebody like him. And they decided instead of getting the somebody like him, let's just go with the original version, which is Dustin May. Now, I want to say on the beginning portion of this conversation, Dustin May is not who he was a few years ago. He does not throw 98 anymore. He is not the same dynamic arm that he once was. The hope is, hey, maybe he can regain that form in year 2 of being healthy and get something closer to what he once was. The likelihood is that probably won't be the case, and he'll probably be somewhere close to a 5 ERA next year, and you'll get decent amount of innings out of him, and you go your separate ways at the end of next year. No harm, no foul. It's a one-year contract. That's the likely scenario here. But the upside at least exists with Dustin May. It doesn't exist with most of the guys that they've had in the past. Lance Lynn didn't have this kind of upside. Kyle Gibson, who I really like, did not have this kind of upside in his arm. So I really like the move, Alex. I'm not selling you that it's something that it's not. He's probably not going to be very good next year. But the potential exists within him that he could have this breakout campaign, and you end up either keeping him longer term because he's young still, or probably the most likely scenario in that event, you trade him. You flip him for more prospects at the trade deadline, and you're able to give him to a team that's a contender. You gave him the opportunity that Dustin May is looking for. The Cardinals benefit by getting the prospects that he's able to command and return at the deadline. And it's a win-win for everybody involved. So I like the move. I think it was smart. I think it was always the most obvious answer to their rotation questions. And that is not inherently a bad thing the way that it has at times been for the Cardinals in previous offseasons.
Yeah, it's obvious because let's all agree where they're at. It's the move that a rebuilding team makes. But I love this move for the Cardinals because it only provides upside for you. If he stays healthy, well, then you got somebody in your rotation that you can slow play some of the younger guys and not force them into the major league. If he stays healthy and has some upside that you can untap, well, now you got an asset that either could help you or an asset that helps you in terms of a trade down the road. This is what they did when they got Jakub Vrana, the Blues. Like, you went after somebody and said, let's see what the upside is. And guess what? If it doesn't work, we go our separate ways. So this was the move. We've been predicting this for the last 4 or 5 months, that Dustin May would be a Cardinal, and they pulled it off because that is the move of a rebuilding team. And I hope for the Cardinals' sake and for Dustin May's sake that he can come back, he can stay healthy, and he can fine-tune whatever he had in years past. But the Cardinals allow him that runway, and if he pitches well, go out there and get something for the Cardinals for the future. That's what you do with one-year deals.
Yeah, and I agree. That's why I love this signing, because there is a little bit of upside to it. Because, like, when I've seen Dustin May pitch when he was with the Dodgers and then a little bit with the Red Sox, like, you can look under the hood, and there are some things to really like. Like, his fastball, he gets decent whiff on it. Opponents don't hit it. It's at, like, 95. It's not what it was in his prime before he had Tommy John surgery and all the injuries took place, but it's still 95. It's something you can play with. His sweeper moves ridiculous. Like, watching that pitch in person, it's like, man, I don't know how anybody hits this. And he's got decent numbers on that as well. So there are things that the Cardinals can look at and see as a positive. It's a matter of, do you find that third pitch that helps him? And if you get him to bounce back like we're talking about, he is someone that will be coveted at the trade deadline. Now, not as like a number one for anybody to acquire, but someone that a team could acquire and put into like the middle of their rotation if everything hits for him. And teams give up prospects for that at the trade deadline.
I do wonder if there's a scenario where they look at making him more of a four-seam pitcher. Like, this is one of the things with the Cardinals' new brass where they can look under the hood and say, okay, we can tinker with some of the usage here and make him into a different version of himself. I remember when Jordan Montgomery first got to St. Louis, this is something they did with him where they were like, hey, let's switch up the usage with your pitches a little bit and find out if there's something more to your arsenal. Can these pitches actually play off a little better if we do X, Y, and Z with them? And for Dustin May, just looking underneath the hood, it's not hard to see why he was bad last year. I mean, his sinker was terrible. Mm-hmm. Opposing hitters hit .295 against it with a .600 slugging percentage. Yeah, that's not going to play. Now, some of this is usage. Like, his four-seam, meanwhile, opposing hitters hit .165 against it with a .350 slugging percentage. But it was almost exclusively used against lefties. Whereas the sinker was used basically the same amount against lefties and righties. So is that a scenario where he just didn't have the trust in his four-seam against right-handed batters because of the way that it plays against them? If he started to use it more, would we see the results change where they're not as effective against right-handed hitters the way that it was against lefties, where it was a very good pitch for him? And as T-Bone mentioned, gets some decent swing and miss stuff as well. I think I would like to find out if I'm the Cardinals. The velocity is also a little better, as you'd expect, on the four-seam compared to the sinker. His four-seam averages close to 96 miles per hour. 2 years ago, it was about 97. What would that look like if he decided to go a little bit more four-seam, a little bit less with the sinker? It's one option for how they could change his usage next year, but it's another one of these signings or moves where you can see where the thought process is leading toward and see where the upside, the untapped upside, could exist within an arm like Dustin May. They have not taken shots like this on pitchers in a really long time. And it's the kind of thing that I'm really excited about if you're a Cardinals fan. This is a 28-year-old arm, 6'6", former top prospect in the Dodgers system that at times in his career has looked the part of a front end of the rotation starter. the Cardinals betting on that is exciting in my mind.
Yeah, and if you're able to fix him, I guess would be the word that I would use. Other free agents in years moving forward will see this and go, oh,
absolutely.
This is what the Cardinals are able to do, right? And a lot of free agents look at this, like, look at Steven Matz. Where did he go? He went to Tampa Bay. Why did he go to Tampa Bay? Because Tampa Bay's proven that they've been able to do this. Why would pitchers want to go to Milwaukee? Because Milwaukee's proven they can take on a project and get the best out of a player. This is the first project starter, I think, that you can look at from the free agent market that the Cardinals have taken on in some time. And this is the thing they used to do when they had La Russa and Duncan, right? They would bring in a guy like Kyle Lohse, and all of a sudden Kyle Lohse is like this really good starter for them. So this is a critical time for them to see if they can work with this project, if they can make this work for Dustin May. No matter how long the rebuild goes, but even when they are contenders again, you can look at a free agent, can look at them and go, okay, I can maybe revive my career in St. Louis under that current regime.
This is also the value of going into the year where you're not having expectations. The Cardinals in previous years could not have done this with Dustin May because they couldn't guarantee him a spot in the rotation. If you're expecting to be a contender heading into the season, Dustin May's probably not a guy that you sign. Dustin May was not good last year. Dustin May had a 5 ERA. If you guys didn't like Andre Palante, you probably wouldn't have loved the Dustin May experience last year. The process was better. It was less annoying to watch, but he was 15% below league average as a pitcher last season. And so the Dodgers were like, yeah, the only reason he's a part of our rotation is because we have no other arms that we can go to. And then Boston was like, we'll go ahead and take a flyer on this. Made 5 starts for them, wasn't good for them either. If you're the Brewers going into the season, the Yankees, the Dodgers, etc., you would not go into the season expecting him to make 30 starts. The Cardinals can and will and should. And that's the difference of expectations going into a season, as you can just write his name in pen. He knows that he can work through stuff throughout the season without the expectations of the burden of expectations being placed upon him. So it's a good fit for him. It's a good fit for the Cardinals. Somebody in the YouTube chat says, it's hard to believe, Eric said, it's hard to believe that Dusty Blake could fix anybody. Dusty Blake gets so much unjust criticism. He has done a really good job of, I don't know if fixing is the right word, but tinkering with pitchers over the last 3 years, I guess it would be now. 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is.
Yeah, Jordan Hicks was his first one that I can think of.
That was the first one that immediately came to mind for me, too.
Or we were wanting to cut him.
Yeah, we all wanted that guy sent to the surface of the sun. Just please go away. Cut it. We're done with this experiment. I remember having the segment where we were like, this guy hasn't been good in 3 years. Why do you think it's going to get good now? And then he got good. He was really good for the Cardinals, and that is a credit to Dusty Blake. And it's not just him, but that's one prime example of what we're talking about here. I don't know if they'll fix Dustin May. The odds are against it. The Dodgers didn't. The Red Sox didn't. Those are two really good organizations when it comes to pitching. But I'm not writing it off. I'm not saying that he can't do it, just because there have been times in the past that bad pitchers didn't suddenly get good under Dusty Blake. That's not a knock against him. There were a lot of guys that, to bring up the same name as T-Bone did, a lot of guys that Dunk couldn't fix. There were a lot of guys that he did, though. And when it works, you get a lot of credit for that. And I think the same thing should be true, in my opinion, for Dusty Blake this season, if it ends up working out with Dustin May.
Worst case scenario, like Alex said, we just give him the Verona treatment. He's gone within a year.
I was gonna say,
Exactly.
this is no harm, no foul. It sucks.
Yeah.
Cool. We got other guys in our system. We'll let take the run.
You forget it ever happened.
I will be curious what the money looks like, because it has not been officially announced and nobody's
It's like
reported the
7
terms.
to 10 would be my guess.
He's
not getting
closer to 15.
Oh, I don't think he's getting 15.
1 year deal.
12.
I think it's probably like
I think 12 to
1,
15.
7 to 10, and then maybe like 12 to 13 on
I'm
the
locking
mutual
in
option.
12 for Price is Right.
I'm
12.
going 7. I'm going 7.
I'll say over 12.
Oh, you're the D word that goes 12.1
T-Bone's
and
got
Price
under
is
12.
Right.
I've got over 12. Alex has exactly 12.
Pick a damn number. Pick a damn number.
I'm thinking 7.
I'll say 13.
There. That's what we needed.
$13
you
million
go under,
is my official prediction.
doesn't count.
And it's probably like a $5 million buyout. So if he is not back in
Too much.
2026, he ends up getting a 1 year, roughly $18 million contract with the Cardinals. That's the price of pitching, man.
How about we'll just give you money for all the food that you bought if you move on?
Come on, man. Have you read anything about that story?
What, the salad?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't referring to that, but thanks for bringing that back up, Brandon.
What were you referring to?
Just all the food that he buys. We'll pay for it. We're not going to give you $5 million buyout. Just all the food. The food you buy for a year.
I thought for sure you were talking. You were making a reference to the salad getting lodged in his esophagus and tearing it to the point where he couldn't pitch for an entire year, and he ended up losing 40 pounds because of it.
I mean, I'll be honest. It's an odd injury, but
he said it was a true life or death situation. Like afterward, he did not think that he needed to go to the hospital. He's spoken about this. His wife told him that he should, and it saved his life because, he didn't know what was going on.
Couldn't he breathe if it's lodged in your vocal cords?
So it tore his esophagus. Oh, that was the problem. Like at first
razor blades in his lettuce.
At first, it was lodged in his throat, but then it got dislodged. They did the Heimlich or whatever, and his esophagus tore. So that was what was actually bothering him to the point where I guess he could have died if he didn't get the surgery that he needed.
I was just referring to not giving him $5 million for a buyout and just say, we'll pay you back for all the food that you purchased while you were here.
Fair enough. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll get into questions and answers. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line to get involved in the show. Coming up next, though, who are the legitimate Super Bowl contenders in the AFC right now? Does one exist? We'll talk about it next here on 101 ESPN.
Tanner Hendrickson here with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Blues will be back in action tonight as they will return home to take on the Nashville Predators. We'll have pregame coverage tonight starting at 6 o'clock with Alex Ferrario. Puck drop at 7 o'clock with Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale. And Jim Montgomery announced today that they will be without Dylan Holloway as he will be out for the next 6 weeks as he is dealing with a right high ankle sprain. This Sports update was run by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
We are about to see an AFC championship game that does not include Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady for the first time since 2010. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. Over the weekend, the Kansas City Chiefs were officially eliminated from playoff contention. The Dolphins are still alive. The Kansas City Chiefs have officially been eliminated from playoff contention.
You want me to go on my rant again, buddy? About the Chiefs' kingdom coming to a close?
It had officially come to an end yesterday.
It was done a couple of weeks ago.
Unofficially, Thanksgiving Day is when the Chiefs season died. And we all knew it at the time. It just took a couple of weeks for that to become realized. So, Alex, I gave my thoughts on the matter in the open today. I don't think people need them extended once again. I do find it to be really interesting, though, what this means for the AFC. I look around right now, and, man, it reminds me of T-Bone. This is before your time, but I was texting with a buddy about this yesterday. Kind of reminds me of, like, the late 2000s. If you remember, that was the era where you had a couple of Steelers teams that made it to the Super Bowl. Steelers versus Seahawks one year, where Shaun Alexander was the best player on the Seahawks. Steelers versus Cardinals, another, where it was the Kurt Warner team that got to the Super Bowl. That was the early portion of the Big Ben era. You also had in that time, so Seahawks, Cardinals, Steelers. There was one other. Oh, the Bears with... Who was it? Was it Rex Grossman?
Grossman, yeah.
Rex Grossman as their quarterback. It was just kind of a weird time for the NFL where you didn't have these super teams that were making it to the Super Bowl. It wasn't the Peyton Manning Colts. It wasn't the Tom Brady New England Patriots. It was just these one-offs or these young quarterbacks that had made it with Ben Roethlisberger. It feels like that this year in the AFC. I don't know if any of these teams are going to be remembered long-term as like this was the start of something. It might just be a weird one-year stretch. Kind of like that year where we had Nick Foles and Blake Bortles and who was Case Keenum. That was 3 of the 4 quarterbacks that made it to the championship round that year.
Understandably so. We don't remember that one except for Nick Foles.
I say all of that to ask this, Alex. Who are the Super Bowl contenders in the AFC?
I think it's just one, and I think it's the Bills. And I think a lot of people hear that and say, no way, that team can't stop anybody. But they've got the quarterback that can get the job done. So if you're telling me who should I believe from that team, it's probably the Bills. And I think a lot of people would say the Broncos because of how elite their defense is. I'm sorry, I just don't trust Bo Pix in the postseason. He could prove me wrong this year. But I look around, and there's only one guy that I think could do it, and it's the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen. That would be my only pick.
T-Bone?
Yeah, see, I would lean towards the Broncos, and I understand the reluctance to go with Bo.
Nice word,
Nix.
man.
Thank you.
Did you, when you said it, you knew that you were like, this might not be the right word.
No, I knew that one was right. It was just kind of getting it out. That was hard.
Pronouncing it, understandable.
But I watch them and I go, man, that defense is just elite tour. It can allow for Bo Nix to get off to a slow start, and it almost buys the Broncos time in games. Now, I say all that to say this. Their defense has not been good 3 of the last 4 weeks. Like, the Packers should not have been able to get off to a fast start like they did against the Broncos, but I think that's all going to get right. They have too much talent on that side of the ball. I would say it's Denver because, like, I watched Buffalo. You mentioned Josh Allen and the Bills. They had no business winning that football game against the Patriots yesterday. The Patriots dominated them in the first half, and yes, they came back. They gave up a ton of points in the process. Like, their defense cannot get stops, and I think when you're looking at a team that's going to the Super Bowl, to me, you have to have a defense that can get stops on a consistent basis. And Buffalo doesn't do that. And that's why I also wouldn't put New England into this, right? New England couldn't get stops yesterday consistently, and they had the ball get run down their throat by James Cook. I think the only team in the AFC that's a true contender would be Denver, and I'm starting to buy into the Texans a little bit. But I'm still not there yet with them and their offense.
Got a long list, man. I don't think there's anybody that's overwhelming this year. I think every one of these teams that I'm about to mention could get to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. Denver, Buffalo, New England, Houston, Jacksonville. I think those are the 5. I don't think I could see Baltimore doing it. The Chargers are too beat up.
Steelers?
No. the Colts, come on.
They're not below 500. Never mind.
Those are the 5 teams, though, that I think could get there. And let me make the case. You just made it for Denver, T-Bone. It's the defense. You believe in the defense, and the offense just comes through with enough plays. The same category would be there for Houston. Houston's defense might be better, honestly, than Denver's. I don't think their offense is quite as robust as Denver is in terms of the number of players that can beat you. Like, Denver's just got weapons coming from all over the place. I don't know that any of them outside of maybe Cortland Sutton are great. They're all decent, though. Houston doesn't really have much of a running game to speak of. Nico Collins is awesome, and they've got a couple other receivers that are like, I think they're pretty good. But I think their defense could be enough to put them over the top. New England is almost the opposite of that. Like, New England, I trust the quarterback. I don't trust anything else about his offense other than Travion Henderson. And he makes big plays occasionally and then otherwise disappears for the rest of the game. I don't think their defense is particularly good. I don't think Buffalo's defense is particularly good. They are a Spider-Man meme with New England, where it's Josh Allen's awesome, James Cook is great. That's it. Decent offensive line, but not as good as it has been in the past. So those 5 teams, I haven't mentioned Jacksonville yet. I don't know, man. Maybe Jacksonville's just going to do it. The defense is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. They've got a couple of decent pass rushers. Their offense has been really good lately, guys. And I think we're late to the party on this. Let me go back to what they have done since their bye week. This is points scored per game. 30, 29, 35, 27, 25, 36, 48. Now, some of those teams that they went up against are not good. They went up against Arizona, Tennessee, and New York, and then Vegas in that stretch. So that's 4 of the teams that they faced. They also put up 29 on Houston, which I just said is one of the best defenses in the NFL, and 35 against the Chargers, who are pretty darn good on that side of the ball. So, I don't know. If they beat Denver this weekend in Denver, I think we're going to have to take them seriously as a legitimate contender. So much so that yesterday I put a bet on them to go to the Super Bowl.
Jeez.
Whoa.
I did. They're 7-1. They were 8-1 at the beginning of the day yesterday. I've got them at 8-1 to win the AFC.
Get to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl?
Get to the Super Bowl.
Okay, that's.
I don't think any of these teams are winning it.
Well, I agree with that.
I think the only team this year that I actually believe will win the Super Bowl is the Rams.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably.
The only tough part I have with the Jags is describing them. What I feel about them is just, they're fine. Across the board. Like Trevor Lawrence, this is the best 3-game stretch he's had in his career. I saw in Mike Sando's piece today on The Athletic. And, I still don't trust him. I know he looked great yesterday. Totally it was fair. It was the Jets, and their defense was not very good.
They're terrible.
When was the last time he looked great against a legit team?
I guess
the
that
playoff
Houston
game against the Chargers.
Not even that Houston game. I guess he threw for only one
interception.
Yeah, the last game I would say he was probably great against a decent team. They're not even decent because they're not in the playoffs, was the Chiefs early on this year.
He was really good in that game. Really good.
That was a game where I went, whoa, okay, if that's what Trevor Lawrence is going to be, they've got a chance. And that's the only game I really felt like I've seen it. He was good yesterday, but it was the Jets.
I don't think any of these teams are good, though. So, we have to just change our standards this year. We are so used to, and I'm saying this for me as much as anybody else, we are so used to the Chiefs being the team that comes out of the AFC or the Patriots being the team that comes out of the AFC that, the one image we can see is Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame quarterback, defensive mind that's going to get the most out of their personnel. Because that's been the case for, again, 15 years coming out of the AFC. And now suddenly it's changing. And this year it's going to look different. No matter who it is that comes out of the AFC, it will not be the same formula that it had been with Brady or Mahomes being that team. So, could it be Denver is the team? Yeah. Could it be the damn Jacksonville Jaguars who commit as many penalties as anybody in the NFL, and Trevor Lawrence is going to make you want to pull your hair out for 40 minutes out of the 60-minute game? Could they be the team that gets out of the AFC? Yeah, I think so, man. And it's going to be different. Just like the Heisman this year was different. We had to change our thought process on what it looks like for the Heisman winner this year. Fernando Mendoza is not your typical Heisman winner. Didn't have the kind of season that most of the Heismans have over the last decade. But he was the best that we had to offer this year. He's him or Pavia, depending on your perspective. I think I would have voted for Pavia, but whatever. Neither of them put up the kinds of numbers that you would have expected in a normal year for a Heisman. But they were the best this year. And in the AFC, the best this year is not going to look like the best that we've seen in previous years. It's going to look like the best that we had last year, which was the Chiefs. They just had the history. But the Chiefs last year also were very good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
For being real.
I prefer this type. I mean, look, we've done
You
the
do?
whole we've done the whole Chiefs dominance. We've done the whole Patriots thing. I prefer an open field. I think it's going to be entertaining.
You know what's going to be wild? When we get into the playoff fantasy stuff that we like to do. Mm-hmm. Good luck.
Oh, yeah. Well,
good luck picking your teams this year, man.
Opt out of those.
I agree. I like an open field. That's why I enjoy the NFC, because I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC. But I think we've seen over the last couple of weeks, you give them your best shot, you might be able to take them down, because Detroit pushed them yesterday more than I was expecting. This AFC, like, I look at all these teams, and like BK's right, like outside of Denver, who I truly think is a pretty good football team. They're not great, but they're pretty good, and I think that's better than anything else the AFC has to offer. I'm going to watch these AFC playoffs go, oh, these teams are all flawed. This isn't compelling football. Like, I don't think the AFC playoffs are going to be an enjoyable watch. Somebody's got to get there because the rules say somebody's got to get there.
It's driven by defense.
I think the NFC is going to be much more entertaining, and I feel a lot about the same in the NFC that I feel in the AFC. Except I feel like there is one true team that is better than the rest. Outside of that, though, like 2 through 7, whew, good luck. I don't know who to pick.
Got this from the 618. This is the first playoff since 1998 with no Brady, Manning, or Mahomes.
Well, that's incredible, because I was not born until 99.
I was 8.
I don't know if that's right. Yeah, it is. 99.
See, I think it is right. I think I did see a stat like that this morning.
Well, you said what? Since 2010 without Brady and Mahomes?
In the AFC Championship game. That's not even in the playoffs. That's in the AFC Championship game. That's crazy, man. This entire... Since T-Bone was born, one of those three, at least at a minimum, was a part of the postseason. And this year it's going to be different. It's going to look a hell of a lot different in the AFC playoff field. Somebody's going to take advantage of it. And a fan base is going to get the memory of a lifetime. For somebody, this is going to change their outlook of their franchise's trajectory. And we'll see if it ends up being like what Cincinnati was, where they had the one-off and then it was just over. This never looked the same since. Or if this is actually going to be the start of something meaningful for one of these other franchises in the AFC that can potentially become a direct threat to the Chiefs in future seasons. We'll see.
You know what's funny? One of those organizations may think they'll never get there if they can't do it this year, and that would be Buffalo.
Yeah. Oh, that's why my money would be on Buffalo.
I want them to get it this year. For Josh, that guy is so
and
good.
For their fans. I mean, what else do they have to root for in Buffalo?
They lost, what,
no doubt.
3 straight Super Bowls?
4 straight in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, and that's why when you said, to feel as good as the Cincinnati Bengals, I don't know if any of these teams, unless they win the Super Bowl, will feel as good as Cincinnati did to getting to the Super Bowl, because you took down a giant.
If you're New England, you'll feel pretty damn good. Because you'll believe Drake is the guy that he can be at the front end of this.
Maybe the Texans, because you're so young.
Yeah. You've got a stud defense. Now the quarterback is going to have if they get to the Super Bowl, CJ Stroud will have had to have some moments in order to get there.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, maybe. We got the coach right. Finally, he's fixed our fortunes. Our quarterback probably made some plays in the postseason on the way to the Super Bowl.
That one feels like, enjoy this because, big boy, you're never going to be back here.
Very possible.
That one... Yeah, that one felt like lightning doesn't strike twice, Jacksonville, so enjoy this while you can.
Coming up in 10 minutes, the Cardinals are very clearly igniting a bidding war. We'll get into that and what they're doing in about 10 minutes. But next, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line for questions and answers here on 101 ESPN.
Alex Ferrario with you to talk about my friends at Classic Air Care. Look, that freezing cold temperatures we've been having, that's why you need to make sure you've got the company that's there to take care of your furnace, your HVAC system when it gets to times like these. I've been using them since 2016, and speaking of their customer service and how incredible they are, I've had numerous issues over the last 10 years of, something stalling out. I've had older units in both of our homes that we've lived in, and at times something goes wrong, and then you're thinking in the middle of the blistering hot summer, or if you're dealing with freezing cold temperatures in the winter. Like, I got 3 little kids at home. I need something done quick, so I'll call up Classic Air Care. Somebody gets back to me immediately, and then they get the technician out to my house within 24 hours, which is so helpful, considering sometimes you're waiting a couple of days, weeks at times to get somebody to come out and check your unit. So call them today, schedule online for their maintenance agreement, have them come out and check out the older unit, fine-tune it for you, make sure it's good to go, and then if issues pop up, you get priority scheduling because you're a part of that maintenance agreement. You can schedule online. Just do me a favor and tell them Alex Ferrario sent you. That's Classic Air Care and classicaircare.com.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line for questions and answers. A little bit of news pass along. This comes from the college football world. Sources tell on 3 Sports that Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby is officially entering the transfer portal. They add that Texas Tech and Indiana could be among the potential suitors for former Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby, a really good player. They add that he could also end up going to the NFL, could have a shot to go in the first couple of rounds because of how bad of a quarterback class this is. All right, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line from the 636. So, Alex, who's scoring goals for the Blues now? Robbie Fabry, baby. Let's go.
Honestly, like we joked about it, Robbie Fabry's got points in both games that he's played, and he has looked like one of the better forwards on the ice. So I'll give him credit for how good he's looked. Really, what you're doing is you're relying on your top guys. Thomas, Buchnevich, Neighbors, Shen. I mean, honestly, Robbie Fabry now, you'll get some of those depth guys to score. Like I think McGing has played well in these last couple of games. Matt Luff got a goal the other night, but comes down to your top guys, and honestly, comes down to your defensemen now. Now, more than ever, you have to play perfect hockey, but you also need your defensemen to jump into the rush. Now would be a great time, Colton Parayko, to start cranking out those slap shots like we're used to seeing.
From the 636, guys, is Josh Allen the single most entertaining athlete in the NFL right now? That's a good question. The most entertaining player to watch right now in the NFL.
Are we talking playoff teams?
No, just anybody. Most entertaining play. You turn on your games on Sunday, the guy that you are most
Gibbs
interested in watching.
I love watching Jahmyr Gibbs play because I don't know what he's going to do night in and night out. Some nights he goes silent. Some nights he finds. Amon-Ra St. Brown's that way too. Like I don't know how that guy continues to find ways to get open.
That's Puka for me.
Dude, Puka's a beast.
He's unbelivel. I think he's the best receiver in the NFL right now.
But he'll play Thursday.
He's amazing.
That's good. He's definitely got a head injury. He'll play Thursday.
Dude, he got up and he fell down and then he was back running plays. I was like, oh,
just stop. Somebody help.
Gibbs is a good answer. He's always a lot of fun to watch.
Defensively, I do like watching those the secondary pieces in the Houston Texans right now. I forget what their names are, but it's the cornerback and the safety that have been a tandem all season.
Jalen Petrie for them is amazing.
Petrie's been fun. Anderson. I mean, they got a lot of playmakers on defense. That's been fun to watch.
Myles Garrett, he's going to break the sack record.
Yeah.
The part that's frustrating, he's on a team that's awful.
Dude, that actually makes it more impressive to me.
Yeah. I agree.
When you're on a team that's amazing, you get more opportunities to rush the passer because the other team is playing from behind so often. The Browns are always behind, and he has 21 and a half sacks through 14 games. The other thing, he's probably going to break this in 16 games.
Yeah.
So it's not the extra game that got it for him. He's just that excellent compared to everybody else.
I hope he breaks it, and then I hope they trade him. I want that guy to go for a chance to win a Super Bowl. We saw Micah Parsons get traded. We need to see this guy get traded.
Those would be the guys that immediately come to mind for me.
I think Allen is the single most impressive because he is the quarterback that makes stuff happen. And he's just like a freak of nature. He's huge. Yeah. He can run. He can bulldoze a linebacker if he has to. Now, if you were saying the team that's most entertaining, I think this year, years past, it's been the Lions. I think this year it's the Rams when they're healthy.
Agreed.
Because they can just sling the football around with Stafford. Stafford's not entertaining to watch, but when you watch them as a unit, they are entertaining.
I think Stafford is entertaining. That guy's fun to watch, man.
I think by himself,
he's really impressive.
By himself, I don't think he's entertaining when I consider just him. Because if you took away Puka and Devontae, he wouldn't look that good.
It's the arm angles. It's the fitting it into tight windows. The willingness to make some of the throws that he makes. It's not only just the throw. I can't believe he even tried that. There's some of the key shots down the middle of the field. Just ridiculous, dude. The arm strength that he still has at this point in his career. I really like watching. I like watching Dak too. It's a different style, but Dak's one of those guys where the pre-snap processing that he has to get to certain things is really fun.
There we go.
That's the other. His cadence is amazing.
I despise watching Dak Prescott.
Really?
Yeah, I can't.
I enjoy Dak. He's different. He's kind of like Stafford, where if he's by himself, no, but when their unit is working, I enjoy it.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line for questions and answers. From the 314, is there any scenario where the Blues look to add a forward the way that they did with Fowler on their defensive core last year?
Only if it's a hockey trade. The Fowler one wasn't a hockey trade. You traded future assets to get a hockey player, only if it's a hockey trade. And honestly, you can't make hockey trades now because everybody's injured. I mean, you're not getting a hockey trade for Shen. You're not getting a hockey trade for Falk. And right now, I don't think they can afford to trade Shen. They don't have enough bodies unless you're getting a player in return. So, no, I don't think so. I think if you're going to see that trade take place, it's going to have to be trade deadline. And I don't think there's going to be a hockey trade at the trade deadline.
From the 618, BK, who would you like to see replace Kirby Moore as Mizzou's next offensive coordinator? Good question. I haven't
Brian Kelly
had the time to really dive into it enough. I think I'll say this, at like big picture wise, they've got the money to go out there and make a legitimate splash hire. Like hire somebody away that you didn't anticipate even being a part of their candidate pool. They could pay $2 million for their OC and not even like think twice about it. And that's not something very many teams can say. So they're in a pretty good spot to be able to make a big move. Who is the name of that person? I don't know, man. It's so hard to say. It's hard to figure out who the coaching candidates are as head coaches, much less offensive coordinators. The SMU offensive coordinator, Casey Woods, was at Mizzou previously. He had a history with Eli Drinkwitz. They've had a very good offense down at SMU. Is that one that would make some sense? I could see it. The Utah offensive coordinator, maybe. Their head coach just left abruptly in the middle of an offseason. Could he be a guy that decides to look elsewhere? Maybe. So I don't know. But I do think they could go out there and make a really significant hire here. And my goal would be add somebody that can fix the passing game. Drinkwitz got the running game, man. His running game's not a problem. The problem is you've got to be able to match the passing game up with his running game. And there are certain places where you could go, and it just becomes this spread offense, and that's not what Eli Drinkwitz runs. So he's got to hire the right guy that can marry the passing game with the running game. All right, last thing here from the 314. T-Bone, did we learn anything about Illinois in their loss over the weekend? Other than don't give up 56% from three to the opposition.
Yeah,
it's a good thing to take away.
I don't think there's anything like major pressing for me outside, like you said, you can't let Nebraska shoot that well from 3-point range. I said this going into it. I thought Nebraska was going to give them a run for their money. I even took Nebraska on the points. So, no, I don't think there was anything overly concerning that I look at and say this is a problem for them, because that's the first time they've allowed opponents to shoot that well from distance. They didn't make free throws again, which is a little bit of a concern, because that happened in I think it was the Alabama game, where they had plenty of chances to make free throws at the line and really put that game away, or at least run away a little bit from Alabama, and they couldn't do it. So that's something that I will monitor, but I'm not overly concerned about it.
Got good news. You've got a gimme
Cupcake
coming up on about a week from today.
It's not even exciting, man. It's not even bragging rights. What are you going to brag about? You beat Mizzou? That
Hey, you
isn't
guys
good?
suck. Yeah, we'll brag about it.
I guess that's something fun to brag about with a win. Hey, we beat a bad team.
At least you guys beat Bethune-Cookman.
Sure did.
Did you
I
cover?
did not watch a second of that game.
Me neither. Did we
I don't
cover?
think there was even a line. I have no idea.
I think they covered.
Coming up in
won by
15 minutes, we'll get to our football pick'em reveal. We'll let you hear what we did this past week in our football pick'em. T-Bone, Alex, and myself. We all made 3 picks. We'll see how we did coming up here in just a little bit. But next, the Cardinals are very clearly trying to ignite a bidding war. They're going to be successful in doing so. We'll talk about it next here on 101 ESPN. Alex, for a lot of people, this was the final week of their fantasy football season. You had the season-long team and either did or did not go as expected, and then this week, maybe you got booted from your fantasy playoffs. That doesn't mean that the fun has to end for you, Alex. You can go over on the Underdog app today and get in on all of the action. Download that app today. Use our promo code BKO. You can get on the action for Monday Night Football. The Dolphins are on the road at the Steelers tonight, and I've got a play for you. I've got Kenneth Gainwell going higher on his receiving yards. I've got Tua Tagovailoa throwing an interception in the frozen tundra. That is Pittsburgh. Put those two together. I've got a nice 40% odds boost over there on the Underdog app as well. It is 6-1 odds for me on the Underdog app.
Get your entries right. Win up to 5,000 times your cash. So download the Underdog app today. Use promo code BKO to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Again, promo code BKO. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus, present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
I think it's going to happen, Alex. I think the Cardinals are going to trade Brendan Donovan this offseason, and I think we're all going to see the return, and we're going to be like, whoa, that was available for them? Okay, yeah, of course. You had to make the trade. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. Katie Wu had an update over the weekend. I love that she's still reporting on the Cardinals. Makes me happy. Makes me, it's like comfort food for me, Alex, when I open up a Katie Wu story, and it is about your St. Louis Cardinals. She wrote the following. The Mariners have been linked to the 28-year-old infielder for several weeks, but a source described the momentum as, quote, picking up, end quote, since Major League Baseball's winter meetings concluded on Wednesday. One name that the Cardinals have inquired about is...
Say it. Pronounce it. Those J's are silent.
Did you really put yourself in this spot?
The double J is an H.
Perangelo?
There you go.
Sinchi?
Sure.
Sinhei.
Sinhei?
The J, I would imagine, is silent or it's an H.
He's the ambidextrous pitcher who was a first-round pick for the Mariners in 2024. There is also outfielder Lazaro Montes, who has been discussed among others.
You were upset about that one?
The Giants could be just as aggressive in their pursuit for Brendan Donovan. Several top prospects have been discussed in negotiations, including infielder Gavin Klein and left-hander Carson Wissenhunt, according to a league source. It is believed that at least 2 organizational prospects will be required in order to land Donovan, who has acquired interest from more than half of the league. Again, all of that coming from Katie Wu of The Athletic.
Don't go get the infielder.
What do you mean?
We have a lot of infielders in the Cardinals organization.
Go get good players.
I would take the Mariners deal.
I'll take both.
Right now. You can't have both, man. You only have one player to trade.
No, I'm saying, like, either's not a bad deal.
This is, I mean, basically the equivalent of 100 or top 100 prospects is what we're talking about here. We've spent a lot of time talking about the Mariners. Hell, I think this is the exact deal that we said 2 weeks ago with Montez and the ambidextrous pitcher being the primary targets in a deal with the Mariners. You look over at the Gavin Klein. He was the 13th overall selection in 2025. So like 6 months ago, the guy that the Cardinals could potentially get for Brendan Donovan, he was a top 15 pick. So that would be the equivalent of the Cardinals this past year getting Liam Doyle and another middle of the first round selection, and doing so for the rights to Brendan Donovan, who I love. But if you're telling me that I get like 18-year-old version of Brendan Donovan, yeah, I guess I got to go ahead and take that, right? So that's the kind of return they're looking for right now. If that is truly out there, and I have no reason to believe that it's not, Katie doesn't just throw this out there for no reason, Cardinals are going to get a bidding war going, and it sounds like there's at least 2 teams that are up at the top of that list right now. When prospects start getting named publicly, this suggests to me, Alex, we are nearing the end of the Brendan Donovan sweepstakes.
I agree. When you get names, that means the finish line is right there, because these are the names associated with it. And I would imagine this stuff gets out because you're trying to get that pot sweetener before the deal is officially done. Those last-minute entries to the conversation, the trade markets, what are they willing to give up? Because this trade's about to get done. So, look, if you're telling me you're getting 2 top 100 prospects for Brendan Donovan, then yes, signed, sealed, delivered. This deal needs to get done. Brendan Donovan needs to go elsewhere. This is, once again, how you reset your organization to get to where you want to be faster. Because if you're only trading Brendan Donovan for one of these guys and then a lottery ticket player on the back end, or maybe it was a closer to major league ready player, but he just didn't have the upside like these top 100 players do, you're fine with it, but it doesn't get the job done faster if you're Heim. And what has been his message all along? We don't want to be here very long. So these are the deals that I would imagine this is what you wanted to accomplish in the offseason, finding this type of return for one of your players. And then there's still other guys that potentially could get dealt from the Cardinals, but this is the moneymaker right here if you're Chaim Bloom.
Yeah, the reason that you leaked this trade, because my expectation was they were getting at least a top 100 prospect in this move for Brendan Donovan, and my expectation was he would be gone this offseason because of how many teams really want his services. The reason you leak this if you're Chaim Bloom is, okay, I don't know who he's sending the message to. It's one of Seattle or San Francisco. Hey, both of you are sending us one prospect that we really like. Whoever is the one that bucks the trend of putting in that second one will be the one that acquires Brendan Donovan. And that's what Chaim's doing by, I assume he's the one, or the Cardinals are the ones that are leaking this to the media. Expectation is, yeah, he's gone, and I think it's going to happen within the next week or two. I don't expect this to drag on much longer. This is just a matter of who's going to be the team that's willing to go a further step in their offer to make this happen. My expectation is Donovan is going to be traded in the next week or so.
I would think the same. And we got this text, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line from the 314. Guys, please explain to me why we're trading proven players for unproven players. We should keep Brendan Donovan. I know that we won't, though, and the Cardinals will finish without a playoff berth once again. That should be the expectation, guys. This is where the Cardinals find themselves. I don't believe that the Cardinals are going to make it to the playoffs next year. Me saying that this is a good deal that you probably have to take is not because I think that the Cardinals will be better next year by taking this deal, but the Cardinals would better position themselves for 2027 and beyond by taking this deal. And that's their goal. Their goal is not to maximize production in 26. Their goal is to maximize potential in 27 and beyond. And when that's the place that you find yourselves in as an organization, you got to make deals that hurt. Brendan Donovan is a good baseball player. The likelihood is if he goes to the Mariners, the Giants, the Dodgers, whoever the team is that he lands on, he's going to be successful for them because he's good. He's, in my opinion, a better player than Tommy Edman. And Tommy Edman went on to have a ton of success with another team. Harrison Bader is a good baseball player. Is he great? No. But he's good, and it seems like every contender in baseball is interested in acquiring his services on an annual basis for about $10 million a year. There's a reason for that. The Cardinals have developed some really solid all-around baseball players, and generally speaking, they should be in the business of keeping those guys. Mm-hmm. But they're pivoting, and they're going in a new direction for 2026. I think it's personally the right decision to do, And when you have these kinds of prospects that are potentially on the table for you, if you're Chaim Bloom, yeah, now is the time where you continue to ratchet up all of the potential leverage that you have. You name some of these guys publicly, or you get them floated out there publicly. And when that happens, now the other teams know what's potentially on the table for you as well. And they have a pretty good idea of, okay, this is what we've got to add in as the sweetener in order to get a deal done. Yeah. And I think a deal will ultimately get done for Brendan Donovan.
And good evidence recently of this, and it's a different sport, but look at what just happened with the Quinn Hughes trade. Like, it was rumored he was going to New Jersey or something like that on the East Coast, and then Minnesota sweeps in and they give a lot more up than probably they wanted to. But that's what happens when you're a late second team jumping into the conversation to try and acquire a player. Frankly, just, again, I don't think you go wrong with either of these because you're getting 2 top 100. That Mariners one is really interesting, though. I mean, you got an outfielder, which I know they're weak in their pipeline, that has power, and you're getting a pitcher that has massive upside. So that's the one that, like, if that's the names that are coming out and you're kind of iffy on it, that would be the side that I'd lean if I'm a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, I mean, they're both really good packages.
Mm-hmm. I just want whatever they deem as the best package available, I'll take it. If that means you acquire an infielder, don't care, because I can flip that later if you think your infield's too clogged, or maybe you get a guy that could become your next third baseman. You can move him off his position. Like, these guys can change positions as well. Whatever is their best package, I'm willing to take it.
The biggest difference between the two, just in my estimation, is this Wisenhunt guy, the lefty from the pitcher that is potentially being in the mix for the Giants side of things, at least the one that was named. He's closer to the major leagues. Like, he pitched for the Giants last year. He made a few starts for them, I believe, at the end of the season. So he could come in next year and at least conceivably be a part of your rotation. Whereas if you take this Mariners package, you're talking about guys that are still probably at least a couple of years away. The pitcher that's in this mix, he was a second-round pick in 2024, so not this past draft, but the one before that. You're talking about him probably still being 2 years away from being a contributor.
I would think they would be fine with that because now that they've done so much in the offseason already, they don't...
Good on the rotation.
We talked about this. We were afraid they would do this, where they would limit themselves to, hey, we have to get a major league piece in return in a trade for Donovan. Well, because you acquired Fitz, who's ready in the Gray deal, and you signed Dustin May, you don't need an arm that's close to the big leagues. Unless you really believe in that guy, then sure, you make that happen. But now wouldn't be a worry if you acquired an arm that's 2-3 years away. Who
cares about the distance in terms of when he's going to be at the major leagues? Get the best available player.
Yeah, I mean, the difference, though, is like in this scenario that we're talking about, if you wanted to take the Giants side of things, it probably is less about the pitcher and more about, man, we really liked this guy, this Killen, in last year's draft.
The infielder?
Yeah. He's 21 years old. He was a 13th overall selection. Bats left-handed. They might just think he's better Brendan Donovan. He will be for them what Brendan Donovan was last year, 3 years from now for the Cardinals, and then they'll have 6 years of club control over him. He said, quote, his strengths stand out more than his skills stand out more than his tools, with his speed and arm strength both grading out as roughly average. He has good instincts. The game speeds up on him at times. His arm is a bit stretched at shortstop. Solid defender at second base, though. Could develop in a similar way to somebody like a Gavin Lux at the major league level. It's a good player. That's Brendan Donovan-ish. Not overwhelming in any one area, but a good overall selection. So, yeah, they're going to have some good offers on the table for Brendan Donovan, as we all suspected. Do you guys think that this thing gets done before Christmas? 10 days?
Yeah. I don't see it dragging on much longer.
Now that names are out, yeah. I think they've got offers on the table, and they're going to wait a couple of days to see if anybody comes in.
That's my best guess.
I think it gets done before Christmas.
Coming up in 15 minutes, a certain segment of Mizzou fans finally got their wish. What comes next is going to be far more revealing. We'll get into that in a little bit. The reveal of our football pick'em challenge is next year on 101 ESPN.
Alex Ferrario with you for Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, the real deal for real deals since 1976. Let Dobbs' team of 600-plus tire technicians and auto service associates care for your family's vehicles. Whatever you may drive, gas, hybrid, or EV, locations are all over town, and they'll help you choose the tires that you need that are already sold at the best prices in town, guaranteed. It's quality name brand tires that will definitely suit your vehicle and suit your family budget. So check out Dobbs' Money Saver deals on new tires over at gotodobbs.com. And then the Dobbs team is ready to service your vehicle, including routine and preventative maintenance, complex diagnostic, and engine repairs. And with the most locations around, including their newest store, which is in Arnold, Missouri, and over in Highland, Illinois, they're opening that one up in a few weeks. Full-service tire and auto service has never been more convenient. So let the tire and service pros at Dobbs take care of your family's vehicles. And be sure to check out Dobbs' Money Saver deals at gotodobbs.com. Dobbs, the real deal for real deals since 1976.
We are now through 2 weeks of the December football pick'em here on BK and Ferrario alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK. By the way, in the 101 ESPN Fastlane Pick'em Challenge, we did it, boys. The Fastlane picked up a W.
I like how you say we did it.
Well, we did it.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I was tied for first going into last night's game. I remain tied for first after last night's game. We need a Dolphins W tonight.
Oh, good. That's who I took.
Did you take the Bills?
I did take the Bills.
Don't listen
Did
to
you take
T-Bone.
Broncos? I said Broncos.
I
We were on
did
opposite
not.
sides.
I did not take the Broncos. I really thought about it. Yesterday, I actually bet on the Broncos on the money line, but I did not put them in our Pick'em challenge, unfortunately. I had the Giants yesterday, missed that one.
What about Bengals?
Had the
Ravens?
Bengals yesterday, missed that one.
I get that. I took.
But I did have I did have the Chargers. I had the Rams. I think I had the Panthers, but that was another one that I switched. I bet on the Saints on the money line as well. So the odds were just too good not to take. So yeah, we had a pretty good day overall yesterday. In our pick'em though, Alex, through the first week, it was a little tumultuous for a few of us here on the show. Alex had 1 point. I had 4 points. T-Bone had 5 points. So T-Bone was in first. I was in second. Alex was in last place. So, Tanner, let's start with your 1 point play. All of these were on the NFL side of things this week.
I am going with the Patriots plus 1.5 against the Bills. I'm going to say with my chest, Vegas has this wrong. Oh. There are a couple of teams that they continue to give good odds to. The Chiefs, for some reason, are one of them. The Bills are the other. The Patriots are just a flat-out better team. They're at home, and they're not favored. So give me the Patriots plus 1.5.
On a give. Cook slices through, and he takes it in for the touchdown.
Say it with me, BK. Ooh, good tough guy.
You know what makes that one worse?
What? Nothing. You were up at the halftime.
Had they just lost that game and it had been the Bills the whole way, I would have been like, you know what, man, I just read that game wrong. The fact that the Patriots came out and kicked their ass for the first half.
Doesn't feel too good, right?
I went into halftime going, all right, I just got my 1 point play. All right, now I got to sweat out what you guys are doing. Are the Cardinals going to be able to do something? And no. I ended up losing it in the second half.
Kind of like Ferrario had his 3 point play last weekend, and, Pete Carroll just decides to lay it down and kick a field goal.
Yeah, welcome to my life in general.
It was a bad beat.
This is, remember that Ravens game? I think they were playing against the Dolphins, where they were up by 24-3 or something in the fourth quarter, and they found a way to lose.
Don't worry, he's going to experience the BKO in just a bit.
All right, let's get to your 2 point play.
My 2 point play, another one that I think Vegas has got wrong, and it goes to play with a good defense, and that is the Denver Broncos. I know Jordan Love looked really good last week. The Packers played well against the Bears. The Bears defense is not anywhere close to what the Broncos are. I think you're going to see Jordan Love go back into really struggling this week. That Broncos defense is going to be suffocating. I think they win this football game outright. So I like the Broncos plus 2.5 over the Packers at home.
Love steps up, throws, nothing there. The Broncos are going to win it.
Dude, can you stop with the whole Jordan Love thing? Those last 2 possessions that they had to get back into the football game, that was bad. Yeah. That was what Caleb Williams looked like in the first 2 weeks of the season.
I think I'm out on the Packers mostly because of the injuries. Mm-hmm. I yesterday before the games, I put a bet down on the Texans versus the Packers being the Super Bowl this year. Odds were just really nice.
Dang.
And the Packers just they're too hurt. Now Micah Parsons is out. I heard a stat going into the weekend, and it ended up kind of bearing some fruit in this game. The Packers this year have the worst defense in the NFL in the second half. They are the worst defense in the NFL in the second half of games. And the theory that I heard this guy say was, it's because they don't make any adjustments. They come out, they've got a pretty good game plan. They've got a ton of talent. So people are kind of taking it back and they're like, okay, what do we have to do in order to deal with this, especially the edge rushers? And then they find their plan, and the Packers have no counterattack. Their head coach, or their defense coordinator, Jeff Hafley, who's apparently one of the top head coaching candidates, just hasn't made adjustments this year. So as much as we're going to talk about the offense, and Alex, I hear you, it's frustrating to watch them at times.
They don't have their playmakers on either side of the ball anymore.
They gave up 34 points to the Broncos.
Yeah.
That's where you lost this thing. 26 against the Broncos should be good enough. That defense for Denver is awesome. Didn't have enough defensively. They didn't get stops.
Yeah, and I think and that stat is revealing, but you lose Micah Parsons. I mean, that's your playmaker. That's the difference maker. And then you don't have Tucker Kraft. You don't have the 2 guys that make that team go right now. And unfortunately for the Packers, this might be that eye-opening moment where they look at their team and say, we need to make changes.
All right, so there's your 2 point play. Nice victory for you, T-Bone. Let's go to your 3 point play, which I personally happened to agree with.
I try to avoid big spreads in the NFL. Not this week. Not when I got to see Grandpa Rivers out there playing quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts against the best defense, I think, in the NFL, in the Seattle Seahawks. Minus 13.5. Give me Seattle. I think when you watch Philip Rivers, it's going to be like that old Super Bowl commercial with Betty White promoting Snickers. I think that's what he's going to look like moving across the field.
Double it. I like the Seahawks minus 13.5 as well against the Colts. The Colts are they're falling flat, man. This team just doesn't have it.
Myers, kick on the way, and it is good!
thought Seattle would come out with a bunch of like hype and aggression, and they would look awesome.
No, you wouldn't do that to Grandpa.
It was sleepless in Seattle yesterday.
No, you didn't just come up with that. You thought of that yesterday, and you had that in the bank.
They didn't look like they wanted to play.
Yeah.
Offensively.
We
They looked like they
known.
walked into that game and they were like, that guy's 45 years old. If we score 15 points, we're winning this football game.
We should have known that was a trap game.
Yeah.
Because you know what they've got on Thursday.
Yeah.
After
They
watching
showed
the
nothing.
first quarter, I was like, they clearly think they can just kind of walk through this game.
They were
And they
hyping
were right.
They were
Yeah.
hyping that Rams one up, too, the whole broadcast, and it did kind of feel that way.
Yeah, so...
A couple of bad drops, too. Smith and Jigba had a couple of occasions. He had some weird drops, like Kenneth Walker's kind of been invisible.
Played him in daily yesterday.
Yeah.
Played him.
Oh, did we lose to Wayno?
No,
we were
bye week for us.
That's right.
But in my actual daily leagues, I had Kenneth Walker. I had the Seahawks defense. I was like, this is easy. They're going to run the ball a lot, and they're going to have 100 turnovers in this game with 50 sacks. They had 1 sack in the game against Phillip Rivers. Yeah. And he just, like, fell down.
And couldn't get back up.
It was like the Betty White commercial.
Somebody stepped on a crack somewhere, and they broke Grandpa's back.
Oh,
All right, so T-Bone gets 2 points this week. He's up to 7 overall through the first 2 weeks of the month of December. Let's get to my 1 and 2 point play. I missed that 3-point play there. Let's hear my first one.
And I think that the Houston Texans minus 9.5 at home is a game that I will go ahead and play. I don't know how the Cardinals are going to be able to score in this game. I think that the Texans are just flat out the better team. That Cardinals defense is not particularly good either, so I think that the Texans will be able to score much more than they did a week ago. Give me the Texans. I know it's a big number, but minus 9.5, I think they cover it.
I'm piggybacking you on that. It's my 1 point play. One, I don't know how Arizona scores, so I'm with you. 1.9.5 Texans.
Stroud, end zone, touchdown, Nico Collins. He's over 1,000 receiving yards for the season on that score.
At one point, I thought we might have to worry about the 9.5 when the Cardinals got it to within 13, like a 33-20, and then the next drive, the Texans were able to score, and I was like, okay, we're good.
Yeah. I thought you guys were going to get backdoor covered. I really did.
Not the first time for Ferrario.
But yeah, that one, Texans are just a better team. Sometimes you get blue chipped, and the Cardinals got blue chipped. They don't have the good players that the Texans do.
The Texans were up by so much. It was just a matter of like they were checked out for the rest of that football game, and I think Arizona just couldn't make plays.
All right, let's get to my 2-point play, which once again, Alex agreed with.
Vegas gives so much respect to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs just haven't been a good team this year. They're a 5.5-point favorite against the Chiefs. This is an auto bet for me. I think that the Chargers beat the Chiefs outright. I don't know how the Chiefs score.
Here's the reason why I liked this one, too. I didn't like it as much to be my 3-point play, and there's a reason why. There's a chance that the Chiefs can win. I don't think it's possible, but there's a chance because it's desperation mode for them. They are eliminated if they lose this one. But even if they win, I think it's going to be by a field goal. I don't think this is going to be like a 7-10-point win for the Chiefs because they can't score.
And Pacheco remains the back, and Minshew to the air. And deep, and intercepted. It's picked off. Derwin James gets it.
We spent enough time on this one. Defense was solid. Offense just couldn't do anything, and Chargers made enough plays to win.
Yeah, well, and the fact of them not being able to score, the one touchdown that they did was Patrick Mahomes doing it himself. Yep. Do you ever feel like, though, like you're watching these games and like, damn, I should have reversed ordered some of my picks because a couple of them how did I not make the Chargers my 3-point play?
Agreed. It was my most confident pick of the week, and it was the only one that I really did money line, like of significant value. And for some reason, once we did our picks, I just was like, I can't do that.
It's like
against the Chiefs 2 weeks in a row, I can't do that.
Plus 5.5. Like, there's no way that it was going to go the opposite direction. I'm an idiot.
All right, so I had 3 points this week. Missed my 3-point play, got the other 2. Alex, we've heard your 1 and your 2-point play. You got both of those correct. Let's hear your 3-point play.
Because I have the Bengals. This morning I saw it at plus 3.5. It's shifted to 2.5. I still think the Bengals are winning this straight up. I mean, especially after Burrow's comments about how he's not enjoying life right now, I feel like this is one of those games that the Bengals are going to show up for. Plus, Baltimore, Lamar Jackson's barely standing.
Burrow kind of stumbles, and he's intercepted. Picked off by Van Noy. Then the handoff, it's Gilman, and Gilman is going to score as the Ravens look for the knockout punch. 95 yards.
no jokes here. Somebody needs to check on Joe Burrow.
I don't know if he's okay.
He's not okay. Like, somebody needs to check on our boy right now. Like, I know I heard Jamar Chase say it afterwards, like, maybe now's the time I lift him up. Yeah, man. I think after his comments, I would have been checking on him before this kickoff.
They just were lifeless.
Every time he walked to the sideline after the interception, it was just like, it was that mindset of like, I don't even care anymore. Like, there's a lot more going on with Joe Burrow than we know.
Yeah, they're done for this year, and I've never been a huge fan of their head coach. I think it's time to move on. You've got to make sweeping changes within that organization because they look broken. There's a vibe issue in Cincinnati right now, and that's the first thing you have to change. They've got to get excited to come out and play football again. What we're watching right now, I would say the same thing about the Chiefs, frankly. It's like they don't look like they're having fun. And football is supposed to be fun at the end of the day, and they're not having any fun in Cincy.
I mean, I can't blame them, especially their quarterback, for not having any fun. I mean, every single time you drop back, you are going to get smashed by the opposition.
Now, to be fair, part of this is on Joe Burrow for wanting them to keep the band together, right? He wanted to pay Chase. He wanted to pay Higgins. He wants to pay Hendrickson. Okay, Joe, well, if we're going to do that, it's limiting what our resources are to help us defensively and to help us on the O-line. So part of that is on Joe Burrow for trying to run the organization by paying his buddies. Sorry, I felt like that had to get out there because everybody keeps saying, oh, poor Joe, poor Joe. Joe's the guy that helped push them to stick this thing together with their 4 biggest players.
All right, so here's where things stand as of today. T-Bone got 2 points this week. Alex and I both had 3, which means that for the month of December, for those standings, T-Bone and I are at 7. We each have a tiebreaker. Alex has 4. So we've got 2 weeks remaining in this month for our Pick'em Challenge for the month of December. Low man in the pecking order will be punished for December. On the full season standings, Alex is at 47. I am at 40. T-Bone is at 38. The low man on the pecking order there gets punished for our full season punishment, which is a biggie.
Ferrario just needs 3 points to be
2 weeks
set.
to go. A lot on the line. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll get into the junk drawer. I'll tell the story about what my weekend was like. But next, a certain segment of Mizzou fans got exactly what they were asking for. So what comes next? We'll talk about it here on BK and Ferrario.
Taryn Hendrickson here with the Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Blues will be back in action tonight as they host the Nashville Predators. We'll have pregame coverage tonight starting at 6 o'clock with Alex Ferrario. Puck drop at 7 o'clock with Chris Garber and Joey Vitale. And the Blues will be without Dylan Holloway tonight as Jim Montgomery talked to the media after practice, saying he will be out 6 weeks due to a high right ankle sprain. The Sports Center update was driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK, you got BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. A certain segment of Mizzou fans, Alex, they got their wish. Kirby Moore, gone. He's going to Washington State. He's their next head coach. So Missouri now has an opening at the offensive coordinator position. My expectation is they will fill that opening. I do not think that Eli Drinkwitz is going to take back over as the offensive coordinator this time around. I think that they will hire somebody. They also just increased their assistant pool in Eli Drinkwitz's last contract negotiation to another couple of $1 million to go toward the assistants. That means that they've got all the money they could possibly ask for to go make a big hire. Who is that name? I have no clue. If I tried to speculate on here, you would just hear me say, like, I don't know, the Utah. Just look up the good offenses in college football. Maybe he picks from one of those trees. I truly do not know. I don't know where they turn, Alex. It's important that they get the hire correct. And if I was looking for like what qualities I would want in that next coordinator, I would be hoping they get somebody that can bring a better offense to the table and a better passing game, more specifically, to the table. Alex, if you're looking at one other piece that I find to be kind of interesting here, we saw this at Vanderbilt when Diego Pavia came over.
You're going down the path I'm going to ask you about.
Where his head coach came with him. It was a package deal. And we've seen this a couple other places where guys have success at smaller schools, and some of these schools just flat out cannot pay the same amount as the upper levels. Like, I think it was the Kent State head coach that took the offensive coordinator position with Colorado when Deion Sanders first got the job there. And I think Sean Lewis was his name. He ended up getting the head coaching job out on the West Coast afterwards. But like those kinds of opportunities, I wonder if they explore something like that where a guy at a lower level brings his quarterback with him to become the next offensive coordinator at Mizzou. I don't know. I don't have any names in mind, but that is something else that I consider.
The first one, and I know nothing about this individual, but it's just the name that just came up about going to the portal is Dylan Raiola. What about their offensive coordinator? Dana Holgerson?
Is he their offensive coordinator in Nebraska?
I Googled who the offensive coordinator was for Nebraska football.
Yeah, I don't think he would be somebody
he was hired in 2024.
Would consider, yeah. And to be fair, like Nebraska's offense has been terrible for the most part.
But I'm just thinking along the lines, like the one thing Drink has struggled with is getting the right quarterback. And I'm not saying Dylan Raiola is the right quarterback. Frankly, I don't know if he is.
Yeah.
But if you want the quarterback, you've got money, yes. But I think the way to get it further is to bring the offensive coordinator with him.
If you want a connection, he was the Houston head coach from 2019 to 2023, talking about Dana Holgerson. Previously, he was with West Virginia. That's where probably a lot of people know him. He was there for a decent amount of time. His offensive line coach at Houston is Missouri's current offensive line coach. So if you're looking for a connection, that would be it. As for Dylan Raiola, I had been told by somebody, I think a couple of weeks ago, like, hey, what would you, or asked by somebody, what would you think about Dylan Raiola as a potential option for Mizzou? And I was like, are you speculating about this, or is this something that you're asking me for a reason? Because there's somebody that sometimes is in the know on this stuff. And they were like, haven't heard anything about it yet, but it would make some sense. What do you think about Raiola, T-Bone? He's the Nebraska quarterback. He acts and looks and
like Mahomes.
Pretends to be Patrick Mahomes for anybody that's unfamiliar with him.
Yeah, I think he's overrated. I think he's more name than game. I like watching him play. He doesn't do anything that I'm like, oh, okay, wow, that's a difference maker. he's like fine. I think he's the kind of quarterback, if you put the perfect roster around him, which Nebraska did not do, he could do like what Brady Cook does, where it is, hey, make like one or two big plays. He uses his legs a little bit more, but make one or two plays and get us over the top. Like, that's how I view Raiola. Like, he's not a difference maker, in my opinion.
He doesn't use his legs successfully.
No, he's terrible. He's not a good. He's
minus 87 rushing yards this year, minus 65 rushing yards last year.
He also takes so many sacks.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that drives me nuts about him.
I mean, he doesn't really. I mean, he's got an arm, but it's not like a great
He doesn't have
arm.
a cannon of an arm, no.
No.
He's not going to beat you over the top. It's going to be more of find my receivers in space and let them do something.
Yeah, I'm kind of out on this.
He's definitely
You're
an
the one who
upgrade.
just tried to
Well,
hire his
I'm
OC.
bringing it up because his name's out there. I mean, how many quarterbacks are in the portal that
DJ Lagway and Dylan Raiola were 5-star quarterbacks a couple of years ago. Both are now in the portal.
I'll take Lagway.
Oh, I don't want Lagway either. I think Lagway's overrated, too. He can't read a defense to save his life. That's not a Billy Napier
Bad coach.
Here's
I
the
don't think
thing.
so.
We'll say this about every quarterback that enters the portal. They all have warts.
There's a reason you're going to the portal.
Exactly.
My question isn't so much what their warts are. My question is it better than what you have?
And the answer to both of these questions is yes.
Yeah.
That's better than what Missouri has.
For Beulah or Zollers, I think so.
Yeah. And it's going to cost you a lot. Like, Raiola, I would imagine, is going to get a ton of money from somebody. I think Missouri has a pretty good amount of money to potentially spend on the position if they want to. Is that the direction that they ultimately decide to go? I don't know, man.
My only hesitancy with Raiola is, like, Mizzou loves the quarterbacks that can scramble and that they use their legs properly. And, I mean, this guy doesn't use his legs properly. I don't watch a whole lot of Nebraska football. Maybe this is bad coaching. Maybe this is bad offensive line. But, like,
it's both.
Mizzou likes to have their quarterbacks that aren't just an arm.
Liked. I don't know if that's
the one they always keep getting.
Zollers doesn't use his legs.
Yeah.
Zollers doesn't run at all, and he was their hand-picked quarterback to be the heir apparent to Bo Prabula in the event that Prabula was actually good this year. He wasn't, and so now he might have to be thrust into action a year earlier than anticipated, but he doesn't run. And it could be, like, they were looking at Miller Moss, the Louisville quarterback. Yeah. He doesn't run. They were looking this past offseason at Fernando Mendoza. They wanted him. Mendoza decided to go to Indiana, in part because I think one of his brothers played there.
Bad choice.
It clearly worked out for him. Mendoza doesn't run either. So I think they are more of a, we'll match our offense to the quarterback. And at the time, they happened to have Brady Cook, and that's the majority of our experience with Eli Drinkwitz as the head coach. He was just the guy. And so they went with him. And then their best option that remained in the portal last offseason was Bo Prabula. And if you're not using his legs, you're not using him appropriately. So you had to go about it that way. So I don't know if that's a requirement in the portal so much as it's nice to have. It's an extra element to the offense if you can use it. Lagway would bring that to the table much more so than Dylan Raiola would. These are not going to be the end of the list of quarterbacks that end up reaching the portal. But a lot of them will have questions, different questions, but questions nonetheless, similar to Raiola and Lagway. There's talent, and then it's a question of if you can extract all of that talent from them. So far, their respective teams did not. Could Mizzou? I don't know, man. If I had to lean one way or the other, I think I would go Raiola over Lagway.
I think I would,
because of the Patrick Mahomes?
I think...
No, it's because I think Raiola has proven more at this level. Lagway, when I watched, like last year I watched him talking about the 2024 season, and I was like, man, there's so much talent there. The next step is going to be special. And there wasn't a next step this year. And sometimes with guys like that, and T-Bone's right, it could be mental. I don't know if he's ever going to get there. With Raiola, I just think he's really solid. I'm not sure that the upside exists that people thought existed.
I agree.
But he might just be a really solid college quarterback, and you can win with that as long as he eliminates some of the sacks / turnovers. So I would lean Raiola.
I would too. I think I agree with what BK said. I think he's just a more solid, proven quarterback at this point. I don't know if there's much of a ceiling. If you put him around a better unit than what Nebraska did, I think you could win 9 games with him. I don't know if you could get to the playoff. You might be able to, but now you're playing 9 SEC games. I don't know if that's possible. You could win 9 games with him. Lagway, like, I just watch him, and I don't think he knows what's going on in front of him. He can't read a defense.
Yeah, well, and that's a problem. If you can't read a defense and you're the quarterback.
Somebody on the text line said 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. Guys, Jaden Daniels was coming off of a bad year when he transferred as well. He was, and I remember watching. I was writing for Rock M Nation at the time when he was transferring, and he looked at Mizzou. It was down to Mizzou versus LSU for him when he decided to go down there. And I watched some of his games. Like, oh my God, the throws that this kid is making are ridiculous. And you could see the talent with his legs as well. I mean, he ran that final season at Arizona State for 700 yards. Yeah. So the talent was not in question. It was just a matter of like, is the situation right around him? And at Arizona State, it very clearly was not.
His coach.
And his freshman year at Arizona State, he threw for 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
I thought he was good his freshman year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so he had shown this really high upside, and it was a matter of, like, can you get back to that? Neither Raiola nor DJ Lagway have shown that same amount of upside at any point in their college career so far.
I know he stayed. If Sellers entered the portal, would he have been number one over those three?
100%.
Okay,
Easily,
I agree.
yes.
That would be the one.
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page there.
Yeah.
That's the one where I've seen him play, and it's like, oh my God, that feels more Jaden Daniels than any of these other ones.
Yeah, because I watched, again, not this year, but last year, I thought he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Mm-hmm. And that was in a season where there were a few really good quarterbacks. This year, there weren't any. So if he had entered the portal, he has this like strange loyalty to South Carolina. He just really wants to win there, and God bless him for it, man. But
loves being a Gamecock.
If he entered the portal, I would have been all in on potentially getting him to Mizzou, but I don't think that they would have ever been able to do that. All right, coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll get to our MLB offseason roundup. But next, time for the junk drawer. I'll explain why I'm wearing sandals today here on 101 ESPN.
Tanner Hendrickson here in Missouri. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live here in Missouri. Now, you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. If you're looking to get in on the action tonight, Monday Night Football, I like the Dolphins on the money line, and they've got a 100% profit boost going right now. And maybe you're thinking, I'm going to put some money down on the Blues game tonight. They've got a 50% profit boost for that game going as well. So download that DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TANNER, that's code TANNER, as new Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code TANNER. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
News in the NHL, the Buffalo Sabres have made a change at general manager. Kevin Adams has been fired after 5.5 years. Any surprise, Alex?
No. Yeah, that he's made it 5.5 years with the Buffalo Sabres. But Jarmo Kekalainen taking over, the former Blues assistant GM, the former Blues scout. So chime in all the Blues deals that'll start happening with the Buffalo Sabres right now.
There's your news in the NHL. Alex, for me over the weekend, I had a rough one.
Oh, yeah? What happened, buddy?
I mean, great on, 95% of my weekend was fantastic.
Hey, you went to a Blues game. I mean, what better way could you have a weekend than that?
Other than that, though, Saturday night, I decided, you know what? Me and the little guy were downstairs. We were hanging out. And we do this thing where I pick him up, I hold him, and he flies around like an airplane while I jog around with him.
Better known as the airplane.
Yep, we do that downstairs in the basement. And we have this little climbing toy for him. It's made out of wood. It normally is sitting in a specific spot, and I know how to avoid it. On Saturday night, for one reason or another, it had been moved. And so as I'm running down and then back...
I'd like to have follow-up questions on for one reason or the other. It's not in the same spot?
No.
Okay. Why would we refer to it that way?
Yeah, I don't know.
Down and
weird.
back. I'm running. I've got Luke up in the air. This is great, Daddy. We're having so much fun. Bam!
You had Luca into the wall?
No, my toe, my pinky toe on my left foot went, like a rocket into the side of this thing.
How fast were you running?
Probably 3 miles an hour.
Oh, my God.
That sprints down there, man.
Hey, man, it's a basement.
Yeah.
It's
We're
not a
having
track.
fun. We're having a really good time.
Also, do you not look,
Faster, Daddy. We got to go faster.
also, do you not look down when you run?
No, I'm looking at my son as I'm running to make sure that, A, he's having a good time still, because the moment that it ends, it's over. We got to stop.
Oh, no, we go through. We keep going. I don't like this, Daddy.
Yeah. And then, B, to make sure, he's doing all right. We're all in the same spot.
I need to check if you're doing all right.
Yeah, well, that is what happened afterwards. So, upon my abrupt boom, I stop. I get Luca. I put him down, set him down, sit myself on the couch, and I looked at Luca and I said, buddy, I think we need to call your mom. She's upstairs. Daddy's hurting quite a lot right now. And Luca looks at me, Daddy, you okay? I don't think so, buddy. I'm going to get your mom to come down. Kara!
Daddy's
I think I broke my toe.
Daddy's trying to fight back the curse words right now in front of you, buddy.
Can you please come get Luca? So she comes downstairs. And she's like, hey, you good?
No!
I was like, I don't think so. She's like, are you exaggerating? No, I don't think so this time. I think I might have broke my toe. At the time, I was like, no, maybe she's right. Maybe I am just exaggerating. I'm making this thing worse than it actually is. My immediate reaction, though, I should have mentioned this. I you know how, when you jam your thumb, you pull on it to oh, God, oh, boy. I did that with my toe.
That's not smart.
And when I pulled on it a little bit, it went, and I was like, oh, that doesn't seem right.
Oh, God, I would have never.
So, yeah, waited about an hour. It swelled up like a balloon. Waited about another hour after that. And suddenly, it's not just red or bruised. It's a deep purple. I showed you guys this morning. Now it's all pooling at the bottom of the toe.
Yeah.
Definitely broken. So I've got.
Are you gonna pull it out for people?
Some.
Don't.
Some sandals on today. Can we see that?
Oh, yeah.
Not just sandals.
Unfortunately,
slides.
we can.
I couldn't get a shoe on. It wasn't happening today.
Yeah.
So,
Welcome.
our YouTube chat says lower body injury out 6 weeks.
Yeah. Might be longer than that. That's the little toe, too, which is the worst of the toes. Welcome to the Toe Broken Club, though, man. It's a fun place to be.
So annoying.
Don't you guys remember my incident where I was in here?
Yeah.
I came in with slides and socks. Mine was bleeding through the sock.
Yeah. My experience through this all was waking up on a Sunday morning at 10:30 to what I thought had to have been converted from BK and Ferrari to an OnlyFans foot fetish account.
Somebody would have paid a lot of money with what we were sending.
I see there's 10 messages from BK and Ferrari. I'm like, oh, man, something must have happened while I was asleep. I'm getting up at 10:30. It's possible. I look at
Wake
this
up
picture,
earlier, man.
There's pictures of your guys' toes that are all purple and nasty. Way to ruin my Sunday morning.
I was just thinking,
had to
too,
skip breakfast.
when we were sitting, I was like, man, T-Bone's probably enjoying his bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and we're getting some Cinnamon Toast Crunch out here.
From the 314. God, BK, you're going to lose every construction worker in the world on your show. It's a broken toe. We don't even blink an eye on bleep like that. Yeah. We don't even stop working. You sound like such a sissy.
Yeah, we break toes and we work through it. We go out and work with broken toes.
No, I'm not going to make those sounds. He's probably right.
No, man. I broke mine too. That sucked.
Hey, man, if you go out there and you keep working with your broken toe, we've all got to do our thing. Like today, I sucked it up. I came in. I'm doing the show. I'm playing hurt. You know how cold it is out there right now, man?
Yeah, I've worked in this weather before.
Outside. I carried Luca inside to daycare today. I'm playing hurt. I'm walking around the office. I'm sitting in my chair today. I'm here.
He's gonna have his foot up the entire time in commercial breaks. Like, oh.
If you can do construction with this, God bless you.
Well, how often do construction guys break their toes? They're wearing those steel-toed boots. Those are. Maybe you should start wearing steel-toed boots around the house.
It's brutal. This thing sucks, man. I wanted it to not hurt that bad. It hurts so bad.
Somebody said, Ferrario, why did you just admit that you wear socks with slides? It's wintertime, man. If you got to wear slides, you got to wear socks. Plus, nobody wants to see your nasty-ass toe right now.
Exactly.
You keep your feet. He's pulling his toes out in the office. And look, man, I don't like bare feet.
I wonder how it looks right now. Should we go ahead and
pull it out for the cameras. That won't get flagged.
Here, should we?
No, man. I hate bare feet. I'm not even looking. God,
Can we see that up there?
Toes disgust me. Oh, God, keep your nasty keep your nasty feet to yourself, man.
It's not feeling good.
Sunday morning.
I wonder if that one gets flagged. Coming up next, MLB Offseason Roundup.
I wasn't prepared.
Ferrario. Major League Baseball offseason roundup.
What's
How's the voice doing?
Not good after that one.
Yeah?
It's going to be in a bad place in just a little bit.
What does it say about somebody that just followed me on Twitter?
They want more feet pics, man. You should show them the left one. Everyone on YouTube was already just warned. First one's free, so.
Yeah, next one's going to cost.
Yeah, you're going to start donating stuff on YouTube if you want those pics.
All right, alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. We are going to do our offseason roundup. A lot of rumors across the major leagues. One big piece of news, though. The Philadelphia Phillies have signed Adolis Garcia to a one-year deal worth $10 million. He's expected to be their new right fielder. Nick Castellanos, for those of you that aren't familiar, he has a $20 million deal for 2026. He was the right fielder. So what's this mean for him? Well, he's gone.
Not yet.
Where is he going? We don't know. Would you guys be willing at this point to do a straight swap if the Phillies said yes of Castellanos for Arenado?
How many years left on Castellanos? Is this the final one?
This year.
Yeah, just one.
Sure.
No.
I'll do it.
Really?
I want Newport playing left so we can recoup his value. And for some reason, I still want Walker in right field. And if that's the case, I don't know where Castellanos is
You were the
playing.
king of saying I don't believe in Jordan Walker and the hype of his swing.
I don't believe in Jordan Walker.
Who's your DH?
Gorman. It'll rotate around. They won't have a designated DH player. That's why I don't think they'll do it for Castellanos.
Are we sure Gorman's going to be here?
I think so. Yeah. I feel pretty confident in answering
We
that.
think Donovan's gone.
Yeah.
Do you think they move any other left-handed bat?
No. Oh, I forgot to mention Burley. Burley could be, he'll be first base when Contreras is gone. Yeah, I don't think they're moving another left-handed bat.
I think they might trade Donnie and Gorman.
I agree. Or Newport.
J.J. Weatherholt starting at one of the second/third. I think Sajaci probably starts at the other position. And you're going to have Burley at first, which opens up the potential of a designated hitter spot for a guy like Nick Castellanos.
Tebow wants to watch Jordan Walker swing more.
I would rather have Nick Castellanos next year than Nolan Arenado. It's a one-year deal. I don't think it's going to work out for you, but it could. Castellanos has shown an ability to hit in the past, pretty well. You may be able to get something for him if you flip him at the deadline, eat basically all of the money that remains on his contract. I would be very open to this.
What?
I just saw his freaking tweet on Twitter. I can't even.
What did he put out?
What happened?
He did not take a picture of his damn toe and put it on Twitter.
No, he took a screenshot of our YouTube.
What's wrong with
He said it's a very normal Monday. I'm just glad I'm not in that image like you are.
I want to be taken off of that image immediately.
What were you just talking about? I have no idea. I lost my train of thought.
You're out on Castellanos. You're in, Alex?
As long as it's getting Nolan Arenado off of this team, I'm in.
All right. Michael King, reportedly down to 3 teams, the starting pitcher, previously with the San Diego Padres. Looking at the Red Sox, the Orioles, or the Yankees, according to reports. Where do you think Michael King ultimately lands, Alex?
Red Sox or the Yankees?
I think he's going to New York.
I do too. Because isn't that where he got traded from to go to San Diego in the Soto deal? I think he ends up just going back to the organization he knows.
Merrill Kelly heading to Arizona, sticking with Arizona. 2-year, $40 million contract with the Diamondbacks. This always made sense. I never expected him to really go somewhere else. You guys like the deal for Arizona?
I think so, because you're probably paying more for a guy to replace Merrill Kelly next season and familiar with the organization. And I mean, frankly, they just needed a reset of a season from what happened this past year. So, yeah, I'd look at it and say we're probably paying a lot more if we are not bringing back Merrill Kelly. So keep the guy here.
I love it for him because he provides innings. He's a veteran that's been there before. He's going to strike out about 8 batters per 9, which is very solid to be like a number 2 or number 3. They've kind of backfilled that rotation. They've got enough arms now to wait until Burns can come back. I think it makes all the sense in the world. I think Michael King would have made more sense for him, but as we just said, he wants to stay out east with those 3 teams that you mentioned. So 2 years, $40 million, that's nothing for a guy that's a really good arm.
I've now had 3 people follow me on Twitter since posting the foot picture.
Oh, my God.
Am I not part of Foot Twitter?
Yeah, you are. I'd start trying to make money on this, man.
At BK Sports Talk, if you want to get involved in the foot fetish.
Not even
Twitter
if
account.
you want. Yeah,
I think I may have to unfollow you like Randy.
You know what?
Somebody on the text line said this is why Randy doesn't follow you on Twitter.
Like, I get it.
Who does that, man?
The Mets, they're in on the free agent market. They let Pete Alonso go. They let Edwin Diaz go, roughly
$23 million a year is what it would have taken.
Brought in better talent than
Jorge
right?
Polanco, 2 years, $40 million is the deal that they decided to sign with Jorge Polanco.
ALCS hero, I guess you could call him that. Maybe
Good player. Wouldn't call him great, but good player nonetheless. I don't know, man. I don't really enjoy what the Mets are doing. I don't think they're having a good offseason. I'm curious to see what comes next. There's got to be more to this that we haven't seen yet, but it sure feels as though they're going all in on the run prevention, athleticism. We've got to be more like the Brewers. And, oh boy,
are they
that's certainly a choice.
Are they elite anywhere?
No. They have the potential to be a very good pitching staff, specifically rotation, if their young arms come through the way that they think. But no, right now. No.
I mean, maybe you could argue the 3-hole,
if you're the Mets,
individual aspects of their team, but like if you're talking offense,
that's what I mean.
Defense, rotation, bullpen, no, I don't think they have an elite area.
So this from MLB Network, Mets are reportedly shifting their focus towards Mason Miller and Luis Robert Jr.
Ugh. Well, to Luis Robert, Mason Miller's a good arm.
I mean, are they going to start?
Yeah, they're going to start him because I don't think you need another bullpen arm.
If you're going that route, just sign Edwin Diaz, dude. Instead of giving up, like, if you think the closer position is not worth $23 million a year, you absolutely should not be trading for Mason Miller if the plan is to have him as your closer. Because the amount of prospects capital that you're going to have to give up for him is crazy, man. So, yeah,
if you're
nuts
if you're a large market team, New York, Boston, Chicago, like if you're not elite in a certain area, it's a failure of an offseason. Like,
agreed.
You have money, you should be elite at one area of your team,
if not multiple.
Yeah.
The Brewers gave up Isaac Collins and a reliever for Angel Zerpa. Zerpa is basically JoJo Romero, but with 4 years of control.
Ooh.
So I don't know what the Cardinals would get for JoJo with just the 1 year left. Zerpa is 26 years old. JoJo is 29 years old. And again, the control is really the significant thing here. Isaac Collins is a good player, though, man. He had a 780 OPS as a rookie last season. He can play second base. He can play the outfield. He's pretty athletic. He gets on base at a good clip. And to get that plus a reliever for Zerpa, I think JoJo could get you a little something. I don't think it'll be a major league player the way that Collins is, but you could get a really solid lottery ticket prospect for JoJo Romero.
Good. Take the chance. Go for the lottery win. Trade him.
Yeah, I still say hold him till the deadline. I think he's going to be more covered at the deadline than he is now. And I understand teams are calling. Teams should be calling because Chaim Bloom's put a for sale sign on the current roster. I don't see you getting much for JoJo because he's a rental. When you see these bullpen arms get moved in the offseason like this, really the big prize is what BK said. It's about the control. It's about having those guys for multiple years. I don't think a team's going to give up a lot for JoJo, who's got 1 year left of control. I think when they are desperate and need a little bit more punch to their bullpen for October, when things haven't gone the way they expected, that's when you'll see the Cardinals get something of value for JoJo.
All right, last thing here. So much for the Corey Seager buzz.
Oh.
You traded?
The Rangers general manager was on MLB Network Radio over the weekend and said, quote, "We are not shopping Corey Seager." Now, can I do a quick follow-up on this?
Sure.
Shopping
or
and listening are two very different things. I absolutely believe that the Rangers are not actively shopping around Corey Seager looking for the best offer the way that the Cardinals appear to be with Brendan Donovan and should be with Brendan Donovan. Do I think, though, that they could still trade Corey Seager this offseason if they are given an offer where they're like, oh, we're actually getting something of substance back. This is not just a salary dump for us. Man, it would be a bold thing to come out and say this and then make that deal. But, yeah, I could see it. I've seen crazier things happen in Major League Baseball.
I think the out is the way that they framed it, and I think you nailed it. Like, if he gets traded, then they look at it and, well, why'd you say he wasn't going to get traded? I never said that. I said, we're not shopping him. This team called. They offered a package that we couldn't refuse, and we traded him. I can absolutely see that happening.
What about you, T-Bone?
I don't think he's getting moved.
Okay.
I think when he came out and said this, he locked in that. I understand we're nitpicking on a word there. I don't think they're moving him. I also, now that Glasnow has come out, this was another big piece of news. Glasnow had been the name that had been floated around the Dodgers who are trading. Now, Glasnow's the one who blew the secret on this one, so maybe this one could still happen. But I don't think Glasnow or Seager are getting traded because Glasnow came out and said, hey, Andrew Friedman told me I'm not getting moved.
Did I see Glasnow also mentioned that something about the Tarek Skubal negotiations?
That I
Did you
don't
guys
know.
see
I
that?
just saw he said he wasn't getting moved from Freeman. I just saw the headline. I didn't listen to his 1.5-minute long answer.
Okay. Somebody had mentioned that.
Because that's where it had been rumored was that they might take on Glass now in a Skubal trade to help backfill their rotation or give them a number one while Skubal was gone. So
That's right.
But no, I don't expect either guy to be traded now this offseason.
Yeah, he said he was. He was on MLB Network Radio and said, he's been told that he's not going to get dealt. He's heard some stuff about the Tarek Skubal rumors, though. Quote, I hope we get that done.
I hate to tell him, but I think he would have been going in
Yeah, I was going to say, well, if it gets done, you might be going to Detroit, big boy.
It's either him or Sasaki would be my guess.
If they get Tarek Skubal, just burn it all to the ground. Start the lockout a year early.
Again, why are you? I thought we were numb to this, man. They get the best available.
Different. That's different.
How is that different?
Skubal can't go there. If you're the Tigers,
Shohei went there, man.
I know, but this is trading him. If you're the Tigers and you trade Skubal to the Dodgers of all teams, just fold the franchise.
Well, they might be getting
that's worse than anything the Rockies have done.
They might be getting a bag in return.
No. I don't care. You're a team that's actually trying to contend.
So you're not going to trade with the team because you don't like them?
Well, that and because you can't trade Tarek Skubal. You can't.
You can if you're going to refuse to pay him.
No, you can't. You shouldn't refuse to pay him, first of all.
They are.
And second of all, you absolutely can't trade him. You won 87 games last year. You should be trying to win with him. We're trying to win.
Yeah, sure.
The goal is to win the World Series, and he can help you do that.
You know, the goal is to, as I think what the real goal of a Pobo is not a shot at Heim
consistent.
yet.
Is to keep the job?
No,
the goal of the job is to keep the job?
No, the goal of the job is not just to keep the job, but it's to balance a budget sheet. Like, a lot of these moves that these teams make are stupid. And why is it? Because they got to get to their budget.
GM,
that's what it is.
GM Kylie, we'd like Tarek Skubal. What are you offering? Our top 3 prospects, which are all top 50.
No,
you're the Dodgers. Call me back when you're not the Dodgers.
That's what I would do.
And then let him walk in free agency.
Correct.
That is dumb.
No,
you're gonna go for an ALDS loss, and then
I might as well resign. If I'm the general manager of the Tigers and this offseason,
if you can't afford him and you won't pay for him, you're just going to hold on to. I'll leave.
Listen. I hope Heim Bloom.
I quit, guys.
I hope Heim Bloom does a great job with the St. Louis Cardinals. I wouldn't have traded Mookie Betts. Like, if the ownership group is telling me that's got to be the first thing that I do, I'm not taking the job, or I'm resigning.
There's a reason they didn't tell him before he signed the dotted line.
Yeah, I'm not trading that guy. I'm not trading Tarek Skubal. I'm not trading all-time greats as I'm trying to win. If my goal is to win right now, I'm absolutely not doing that. No chance. All right.
Honey, why'd you get fired? Well, I didn't get fired. I quit. Why? Because they're making me trade somebody that I don't want to trade.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be the guy that moves that guy. Not doing it. I will not be remembered as the one that moved the Hall of Fame talent that brought so many positive memories among fans.
If you get it right, you're going to be viewed as a genius.
Yeah, the odds are very much not in your favor. How many times have we seen the all-time great player get traded, and the team that won the deal was the one that got rid of the all-time great player?
I mean, I would say Washington did it with Soto.
You think they won?
And what's his face?
Currently looking at trading both of the big significant returns that they got.
Nailed the return. They screwed up building the rest of the roster.
They did a great job in getting a return for the player, and now they suck. Congratulations, Washington. You did great.
Soto.
It is. That's part of the consequences of it, is you go into a significant rebuild by trading that player. I'm sorry. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the idea that these are smart moves.
I just find it funny that BK would have one of 30 jobs that we basically talk as our own Pobo when we're talking about the Cardinals.
Go back to the minor leagues.
And BK would quit because he had to do one thing.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, he'd be general manager of the Memphis Redbirds.
He'd be in his slides.
I'm saying the Cardinals should have traded Albert Pujols going into 2011. No, they shouldn't have. It would have been really stupid.
He'd quit and start showing his feet on OnlyFans to try and sell money. I'm the former general manager, and I'm just trying to get paid because I don't want to trade Mookie. Look at my foot.
I'm the Jim Bowden of OnlyFans for his feet.
Oh, now I got an image of Jim Bowden's feet. I'm out. Oh, God.
That was the latest edition of the MLB Offseason Roundup here on BK and Ferrario. We'll talk about the Quinn Hughes trade next. I was ranting and raving in our last segment, talking about how I wouldn't do something, and instead I would just give up my $5 million a year job.
Yeah, just go sell
out of principle.
Go sell feet picks.
We are so far behind on the clock. So far behind.
Oh, and let me guess, you're going to try
We are starting this segment where we should start the next segment. So let's go ahead and go quickly through this NHL segment. So that way we can get to in or out on the other side. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line.
How about we just skip through the NFL?
You give us a scenario. We will tell you if we are in or out here on BK and Ferrario. So Quinn Hughes is now a Minnesota Wild, Alex.
Yeah, how about that deal? Friday night.
This
Friday
kind
night
of came
frenzy.
out of nowhere. We knew that the deal was potentially going to happen. Maybe I just missed it, but I didn't see a whole lot of speculation about the Minnesota Wild.
No, they weren't even in this conversation, apparently. So from what I understand, after Bill Guerin's availability over the weekend, he just made a last-minute call and said, look, are you going to deal him? And if you are, here's what we have to offer. And, I mean, they offered a freaking package. I mean, you gave up the equivalent of 3 first-round picks to get this guy. Zeev Buium, who looks like he's going to be a top-pair defenseman in the NHL. Gave up Marco Rossi, who is a consistent top 6 center, 50, 60-point player, probably nothing more than that. And then you gave up another middle 6 winger who's a first-round pick.
And a first-round pick.
So, yeah, 4 equivalents of first-round picks. So, yeah, I mean, everything that they were saying prior to him being traded was it was going to be an Eastern Conference team. The team was told that they're not going to be able to re-sign him because he's probably going to walk up to free agency. And I think all teams just assumed New Jersey was going to be it. And it sounds like New Jersey really wasn't even able to make a deal because they have so many no move and no trade clauses that they couldn't make the salary work. So, man, I've always loved Bill Guerin as a general manager, as an assistant GM when he was in Pittsburgh through those years that they were winning Stanley Cups, as a player when he played for the Blues. But, man, that guy's got cojones. And he looked at it and he said, I don't care if we can't keep him for 2 years, which it sounds like they actually have a shot at now. He looked at his team. And Mike Kelly of NHL Network, he put out some numbers that the weakest area that the Minnesota Wild have been this season are zone exits and the ability to create offense from the defenseman.
Interesting.
And what did he do? He went out there and got the second best player in the NHL that can do that. So I love the aggressiveness. I hope he re-signs solely because I think it makes more teams willing to make those aggressive trades. But, man, Bill Guerin said, bleep it. We've got a guy that is a once-in-a-lifetime player. Let's go acquire him.
My biggest takeaway from this is the kind of move the Blues are going to have to make whenever they're a legitimate contender again. I don't know who that player is. I don't know what it will look like. I don't know when that will be. But I think we are getting to a place now in the NHL where you've got to be willing to make a gutsy move like this in order to put yourself over the top. The Dallas Stars have now done this, right? They made the gutsy move to go get Mikko Rantanen, and it required them to mortgage some of their core to go get a guy that potentially puts them over the top. He is the superstar they were lacking. Florida did this with Matthew Tkachuk. He was the superstar they were lacking.
Vegas does it every single year.
Absolutely. The Minnesota Wild now just did it with Quinn Hughes. They believe he is the superstar on the blue line that they've been lacking to pair with their superstar forward that they now have.
Colorado does it. And has done it, and then
they also have the superstar they developed internally, 2 of them.
But they said we're going to go out there and going to get more. Like that's the one thing Edmonton hasn't really shown the ability to do is make those really aggressive big swings because, frankly, they don't have a lot of money for it.
To be fair, they have the 2 superstars already. The Blues do not have a superstar on this roster.
The other team I was going to mention real quick that's done this is Tampa, and Tampa has always had those superstars. But you know what they continued to do in that window of them winning? They kept saying, "Let's go get more." They went out there and they traded for Brandon Hagel. They went out there and traded for multiple defensemen and added a couple of depth forwards that are now significant parts of their team identity now. Like these teams in the last 5 years that win cups or get to the cups, they say, our team's good. Let's go make them great.
I'm very curious to see what that looks like for the Blues and when they're willing to make that kind of move, when they should make that kind of move. Is this something that they consider even going into the offseason where they say, hey, we've got a lot of really good players right now. It is time for us to consolidate this into one asset. Because that's basically what the Minnesota Wild just did. They have a lot of good players, and they were looking all offseason. What do we do with Rossi? What's the plan here? They really liked that defenseman that they gave up in this deal. I'm sure they would have preferred not to give up another first-round pick in this as well. But when Quinn Hughes becomes available, guy's 26 years old. He's a potential point-per-game type of producer on the blue line. These guys don't come around very often. And the potential to get a year and a half of him, to at least 2 postseason runs with him, you got to take your shot when you get it. So I'll be curious to see what the Blues do there. That was my biggest takeaway from it. It makes the Central Division that much more difficult for the Blues now. You've got 3 teams in here that are legit Stanley Cup contenders at this point in time for the next couple of years at minimum. and the Blues are nowhere close to that. So this season, I think it's the writing is written in pen.
Yeah,
this is a seller.
That was one of the takeaways I had. Is man, like, I wonder if part of the rough season that they're having and the development stage that they're in with all of these younger guys, it might be falling in the perfect time because Colorado's a juggernaut, Dallas is a juggernaut. Minnesota now just went out there and got arguably the second best defenseman in the NHL to play with one of the best forwards in the NHL in Kaprizov. Maybe it's a good thing that a couple of years in development stage for the Blues compared to trying to compete in the Central, which right now is not easy.
He's Alex S. T-Bone on BK. In or out coming up next here on 101 ESPN.
Tim Hendricks near the Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Blues back in action tonight as they take on the Nashville Predators. Well, a pregame coverage starting at 6 o'clock with Alex Ferrario, followed by Puck Drop at 7 with Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale. And the Blues will be without their forward, Dylan Holloway, who got hurt at practice yesterday. Earlier today, Jim Montgomery said he will be out 6 weeks with a right high ankle sprain. The Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin Heating and Air Conditioning dealer.
Couple pieces of news in the college football world. One, Kalen DeBoer was asked directly today at his press conference, quote, "Will you be the head coach at Alabama next season?" His response, "Yes," end quote. Pretty definitive.
Roll Tide.
That's one way to go ahead and just eliminate all of the noise.
I was saying, I got no follow-up questions.
Good on him. So there's your answer from Kalen DeBoer. Sounds like he is out of the Michigan coaching search. My guess is they're just going to hire Jed Fish, right? The Washington coach?
That would be my guess. I haven't seen him sign an extension, and he's got a connection there.
The other piece of news here, this is locally important. Missouri wide receiver Joshua Manning plans to enter the transfer portal. He totaled 300 yards receiving this year, 2 touchdowns. Really solid player. I don't think he was ever going to be more than like a number 3 receiver for Mizzou, but disappointing to see him go. They've got some receivers that are waiting in the wings, though, and this was obviously not a great passing offense, so understand why he would decide to go to the portal. I'm assuming they are prioritizing keeping Donovan Olugbade as a part of their roster. All right, let's get to this for in or out here on BK and Ferrario. Guys, in or out, the next piece traded from the Cardinals roster will be Brendan Donovan.
I'd say in on this. I think there's noise, there's names attached to it. This feels like it's closer than any other deal to the finish line. So I say this one gets done before Christmas.
Yeah, I would say in as well, because it's got multiple teams bidding on him. Contreras sounds like there's only 1 or 2 teams. Arenado doesn't even have a market apparently right now, and we'll see on JoJo, so I would say in.
Sweep it. We're all on the same page. I think he's the next one to get done. I think it happens prior to Christmas. Alex, what do you got for us
Guys,
today?
in or out, Robbie Fabry will remain with the Blues for the rest of this season.
And
Say out for the rest of the season. I do think he's here for a while, though. Like post-Olympics, that's probably when you have to make some kind of a decision.
I wonder if I would say in, because I think by the time you get to post-Olympics, you'll start to see some pieces get traded out.
Yeah.
Fair point.
And they'll look at this and they'll say, hey, Fabry's played awesome for us. Let's keep him here and put him in the middle 6.
that's why I think he stays. I think he's going to be. He's got so many injuries that are long-term right now, so he stays till at least the Olympics. And then, like you said, at some point, Army might be selling off. If that's the case, they're going to need bodies, and Fabry would be a guy that can stay there.
Montgomery did an update kind of on everybody. So Dylan Holloway, we know high ankle sprain 6 weeks. Nathan Walker, 6 more weeks from now. Jimmy Snuggerud, 4 more weeks from now. Kyrou, who was week to week, hasn't even started skating yet. So you're talking multiple weeks probably. And then Nick Bukestad's not playing for the next 3 games. So not playing before this road trip in Florida. So
T-Bone?
Other than that,
yeah,
guys, in
Should
or
be
out,
fine.
Dustin May will start on opening day for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Out. I think as of today, they would go with somebody internally. My guess is, again, as of today, probably Michael McGreevy.
I kind of want to say in because I feel like it's the biggest name. But I also wonder if they give that to Matthew Liberatore.
Right now, I would lean in, but I think it's all going to come down to whoever pitches best in spring training. I don't think you're going to hear, like last year, I think Ollie announced the opening day starter was Gray, like the first day of camp. Yeah. He may not be making that announcement until like a week before training camp is over.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line from the 314. Guys, at some point in the offseason, in or out, BK will say that Arenado could actually be back. Out. Not happening.
But don't worry, believe me, if he's back, we are going to make sure BK hears
I'm going to
it.
have to find the segment where he was yelling at me like he was upset at me.
I am. And was.
Well, look who's upset now.
I will stay out because I think he'll be screaming from the mountaintops until spring training ends. I don't even think it'll end at spring training. It won't end until spring training is over that he'll say he's got to be gone.
In or out, the Blues will lose another forward to injury before Christmas. I'm going to say out. Please
God,
no.
I hope not.
No more.
I don't know what else you have to lose right now. You can't afford. You got nothing else to call up.
They're going to have to make another roster move, right?
You might have to start claiming
They've only got
waivers.
12.
No, they'll keep it at 12, and then they'll decide from there what happens tonight. But yeah, probably.
From the 801, in or out, the Blues assistant coaching staff will get some kind of a reshuffle in the offseason.
I'd say in. Not that, I mean, people know my stance. I think it's ridiculous when we blame the assistant coaches for the team's performance, but I think they love Steve Ott, and I don't think Steve Ott goes anywhere unless Steve Ott wants to leave. Mike Weber, we all remember he was hired by Craig Berube. Doug Armstrong said it that, Weber was a Berube decision. And the other thing that I was looking at a couple of weeks ago, Jim Montgomery has never hired an assistant coaching staff. Because everywhere he's been, he's inherited that coaching staff and he's kept it in place. And then, of course, he didn't get to be there long enough to make the changes. So I'll say if the team continues to struggle, that they'll probably reshuffle it and let Jim Montgomery make some changes.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Last thing here from the 636. In or out, the Blues continue the downward trend and ultimately wind up with the number 1 overall selection in the draft.
I'd say out because number 1 overall selection would be, you're going off of, in my opinion, tinfoil theory here. And if my tinfoil's correct, Vancouver just traded away Quinn Hughes, so they'll probably be like, well, let's give this team.
Why would you do that, though?
Because they traded away a guy and then say, let's make them better. Because it's a Canadian market, BK, and guess what the NHL loves?
What about Calgary?
USA.
I think Calgary would be at the bottom. I think they'd give it to Nashville before they'd give it to Calgary.
What?
Did you say USA for Calgary?
He said, we know how much NHL loves, and I said USA.
Oh, I think you said because you thought Calgary was in the
that's
USA.
what I was confused by. I was like, I don't think Calgary
I know
is
my Providences.
If you want my real tinfoil,
your what?
Providences.
I think that's the capital of Rhode Island.
Oh. Whatever.
My tinfoil
Provinces?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
My tinfoil is Nashville gets it.
Yeah, I would say out. I just don't think you're as bad as some of these others. I think Nashville might be a team that goes on a sneaky
You're
run.
4 points out.
Yeah, no, you're
every bit
I
as
know
bad as these
I
two.
know you
bad.
are as bad, but I think the
top
sell-off coming from some of these teams is going to be more significant than what you do.
I don't know if Nashville sells off because Trotz wants to win so bad.
I'm thinking Calgary. We just saw what Vancouver's
Calgary
doing.
doesn't have anything to sell off. They won't trade Kadri or Anderson, and Vancouver just traded off. Yes.
I think he's posturing.
I think they're going to be top 3.
You're definitely not as bad as Buffalo. I've seen Buffalo.
I could make my case for tinfoil of the Blues to get the first overall pick. Yeah. I just don't want to make it a pipe dream.
I'm in. Coming up next, we'll hit the rewind here on 101 ESPN. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. If you guys missed anything from today's show, be sure to check it out on the podcast page, 101ESPN.com, and the free 101 ESPN app is where you go to find it. It's all sponsored by
Schaefer Door Companies.
That 101 ESPN app is free to download, super easy to use. It's sponsored by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. It's 155. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers and officially licensed Rolex Jewelers. So the Cardinals have made a signing. They added Dustin May to their rotation over the weekend. We all agree, pretty good signing by them. They are also in conversations, according to reports, with other teams about the future of Brendan Donovan. It sounds like the Giants and the Mariners have elevated themselves as the favorites to land his services, with significant prospect capital being in discussion there. You can find our full thoughts on both of those stories on the podcast page after the show today. I also gave my thoughts on the Chiefs' run officially coming to an end, as they are going to miss the postseason this year. And Alex gave his thoughts in our open today about another injury for the Blues, with Dylan Holloway out for the next 6 weeks or more with a high ankle sprain. Let's go ahead and finish the show there, Alex. Blues back in action this evening at home against the Predators. We'll have pregame coverage starting at 6, puck drop at 7. The lineup is, it's certainly something.
It's a lineup.
They're going out there tonight with a top 6 that, for better or worse, includes Matthew Joseph and Robbie Fabry. Their third line is Suter, Dvorsky, and Hugh McGing. Your thoughts, Alex?
They're working with what they have. I actually don't mind the Robbie Fabry thing in the top 6. I think he's been a consistent, one of the best forwards on the ice since he's joined the Blues. I would say predict a goal for Fabry tonight, because frankly, there's not a lot of guys that can score. And I think the reason Joseph's on that second line and Suter's on that third line is you got to spread out the offense. I mean, they don't have a lot of it right now, so Suter stays on that third line, keep Joseph up on the second line. Look, if they want to win hockey games throughout this injury bug that's just hitting them repeatedly, it's going to come down to your best players taking over hockey games, your depth guys stepping up in certain situations like they've done, and your defense is going to have to be engaged offensively. That's how you win and play perfect hockey, because with this amount of AHL players, you can't make mistakes on the ice.
Yeah, I don't have a good feeling about where this is heading for the Blues. I haven't for a while now, and now you just added in another significant injury to the mix. Oh boy, we talked about how this was a potential spot in your schedule that you could really take advantage of. You lost game 1 against Nashville. You were able to take advantage of Chicago over the weekend. Good on them, but now you just got even more banged up heading into tonight's game against Nashville. Winnipeg, New York, and then it gets a little tougher with Florida, Tampa.
January's brutal, too.
It's horrible.
And I mean, you're talking about Walker, Snuggerud, Holloway not returning until middle to end of January.
It's hard for me not to wonder if Doug Armstrong makes some kind of a move this week. I don't know what that move would be, what's out there for him right now, but I'm talking about potentially selling prior to the freeze for the rosters that begins, I believe, on Friday, right, Alex?
Yeah, the 19th, I think, at midnight is when it freeze.
Yeah, so you've got the rest of this week to be able to do something. We'll see what exactly tonight's game potentially means for any of those moves. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. Again, if you guys missed any of the show, be sure to check it out on the podcast page. You can check out my feet over there as well, youtube.com/101ESPN STL. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. The Fast Lane's next here on 101 ESPN.